I just put this here.
You guys want to see what the frame is because it's smaller because it's vertical, but
Work and play.
oh, are you in?
You can.
Okay.
It's on.
Okay. Sweet. Cool. So, welcome to our cooking channel. Me, Bainz, and Teezio started a cooking channel, as you guys can see. And we're gonna wait for people to come up on the live stream. Yeah. And for you guys that are already here, let us know if you can hear us well, because we just tested microphones, and live streams are always, tricky. So let us know if you guys can hear.
Chat, what's going on, chat?
What's going on, chat?
Talk to us. Chat it up. I don't know. Should we?
I don't know.
I kind of want my phone.
I think it'll. Let's just drive people to the YouTube. Actually, if we go live, it'll probably drive people there.
What y'all doing? We just having a little lunch.
Yeah, they are eating. I'm not because I ate already. But
Chicken.
Bainz makes the best fucking chicken in the universe. It's not even funny.
That's all I eat. That's actually not true. That's not all I eat. I eat barely any chicken. Now I'm trying to eat more chicken.
It's pretty
I was
cool.
barely eating chicken either. Damn.
How's he doing?
How are you? Oh shit.
Who's it?
It's thing.
What was doing?
How is Bella doing? Bella's doing much better, thank you. She's still recovering. She's still a little weak, but she's doing better, much better, walking and talking. She's not in the hospital anymore. Thank God.
Pray for Bella.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. She's a warrior.
Her voice is so crazy.
Thanks, man. Yeah, this is a story that I said, before, but that's how I was like so shocked even when she said just hi. I was like, what was that sound that came out of your mouth?
Right? Like, what the
It's like a real life fairy. And it's funny because everybody says, like, is that a real voice? Are you faking it? No, I wake up to that. That's a real voice. you heard it, yeah, too. Yeah, so many actually. I wasn't aware of it. We're taking questions, guys, in the chat. So we got Teezio here and Bainz today. It's a big fucking deal. So
Bainz is doing a quick call with a client.
Yep.
So you know how that goes.
We never stop. We never stop.
Never stops.
Teezio was good.
Was good. C4 play music. What's good, bro?
What are you working on right now?
Shit, Chris's album.
Okay.
He said, yeah. So we're doing. Oh, my bad. No, Chris's album as usual. Like it's always like a process, coming off a tour, going into the new year, which is essentially like after tour, and then working on the album, and then it's like tour album.
It's funny because it's.
So I'm like on season right now, and then when he goes on tour, I'm off season from him, but it's a big undertaking because I feel like with most other artists, even if you do it's very rare you get an entire album.
Yeah.
On some of these big artists and K-pop, you'll get 3, 4, 5, 6 songs,
yeah.
but you're not getting 18, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's like a specific artist who's coming to you for a specific sound or whatever. There's always so many politics, right? Like there's so many producers on. Just take like a not Sabrina because I think Servant did all that, but some of these artists that are pretty big, like I've mixed a couple on Lil Nas X, and then John Castelli did. Servant mixed a few.
Yeah.
So I feel like with Chris, it's the one thing that it's from top to bottom. I have to mix every single song, the deluxe, and also be there a part of the selection of the records and stuff like that. So it's a lot more than usual.
It's cool though.
It's definitely cool. It still keeps me in the room, which I like about that. But usually when I'm working with a client, I'm just the mixer, right? So if there's talks about should this be the next single, or should that really happens outside of me,
Yeah.
right? But with Chris, because I come from the interior of that situation, I'm still kind of more involved in that type of stuff. So it's definitely a lot of work until we get to the point where we want to.
That's, I think, is the difference between like the rock scene and the mainstream pop or hip hop. Like we usually get full albums. In the rock, they,
100%,
you know,
because it would be stupid
it's
to
the
take
sound. Yeah.
records that they're using the same instruments.
Yep.
They would sound different across,
Yeah.
right? Versus when you're mixing a record for a bigger artist, not every song is going to be made by the same producer.
No.
Which means that anyone can mix it, and as long as they're kind of staying in like a.
They can't hear Teezio? Okay.
Can you hear me? Is this better? But yeah, with regular stuff, every producer has a different sound, so
Yeah.
like you're not gonna be even close anyways. Versus with rock, it's the same drum set.
Yeah.
It's the same guitar, same bass, so it's like you kind of need to have the same
Consistency.
studio, the
Yeah.
same instrument, the same stuff. If you want it to be right, like every drummer has that snare sound, or maybe there's 2 or 3 snare sounds that a drummer.
Yeah, it
uses.
happens, but the same hand, the
But
same
on
room, the same
they,
kit.
they recorded that way too, right?
Yeah.
The same room. And
Yeah, exactly. So I was talking about with you with the Adema album.
Yeah.
Like once the first song is done and approved, you know, it's kind of easier to go to the next one because you know the drums is the same room, the same drummer, same kit. Yeah, the snare may change on a couple of songs, but
Is that something
It's minor
you recorded that
differences.
as well?
I engineered it,
Yeah.
meaning this is gonna be the chain, this is gonna be the mic placements, and then I left.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
and
That's actually
So
smooth.
you
Yeah.
test, like you set up the mics.
Yes.
You test everything, make sure it sounds
Yes.
good. Is the engineer there to approve it?
I was like, for example, for vocals, right?
Yeah.
Actually, the singer came to my place. I pull up all my microphones, did a number of chains, we tracked a couple of, you know,
To test what would
verses.
sound
Yeah,
the best.
yeah, and then
you make sure that that's the
yeah,
setting.
that's a setup,
and
and send
possibly
them on.
the settings.
Yes,
Rough settings,
Yes,
right? You have
yes.
them go full voice, you have them go soft.
yes,
Figure out like, okay, this is where you should be.
Yep.
Here is where you should be there.
yeah,
this
and
is
I
where
made
you should be
sure exactly like you say, like the scream parts. Do this, like do all the scream parts first if you can.
there. Right.
Do all the
You know it's
verses
gonna be
because-
a clear
exactly,
sound,
so you don't have to change between sections. Like you do all, you know, one pass with one settings and the other pass with the
I've-
other settings.
But no, I
Yeah.
was gonna say for the most part it doesn't. But I've done a lot of full albums like and major ones too.
Make-
Like, well, baby, I did the whole Wham album, every
So
song.
we also did a few like we.
Yeah, so I mean, but you're still like it's a whole album that
Yeah,
you're
it's a
given
whole
to, right?
album,
I mean,
yes.
what you like, we
For
call
sure,
in the
yeah.
fucking Avengers for sure. That's what I'm gonna do. But I was, it's you're delivering an album,
Right.
and obviously with all the YSL artists, I did that as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then Big X is another artist where I'm doing every song.
A whole lot,
And
yeah.
that is dope because even though there's multiple producers on the album, his guys take everything and they do their thing to it. So there's not just on a mix level, from a production level, there's
Right.
a cohesiveness because it might be other producers doing whatever, but when it comes to the 808s and
Right,
shit,
right,
band
right.
playing, Tony
Now,
are going to do their thing.
Question on why maybe an artist would be willing to or wanting to have one mixer, right? Do you think that sometimes when those artists are like kind of just with the label kind of decides everything for them, like the label is kind of just like making all the decisions, they might choose to have different mixers on an album versus when an artist is making all the decisions, they're in their head going, no, only one person should be mixing all of this because I want it to be very specific to what I want.
I honestly,
Some artists don't care.
I
so much about
honestly
that.
think it's the reason I've got the whole album and every song is because, knock on wood, I haven't fucked up yet. Why would you go to someone else if the guy you're with and the guy
It
you have a good
depends.
relationship?
Some of these
aren't
producers,
fuck-
some
aren't
some
fuck-
of these producers want to use their guy.
I get it, and this
That's-
has happened multiple times. Multiple producers have said we want to use our
Yeah, we
guy,
want to use someone else.
and the labels team is like, no, it's our project. We're handling it.
Right.
Yeah,
And
so-
sometimes
so-
it can get
so th-
political.
It has got.
Sometimes someone has.
It,
to
ha-
use
it,
their
it,
hand
it definitely has gone political, but in this
Yeah.
situation,
for
bro,
that,
there's
yeah.
been records with some like the features we've had, and
Yeah,
and I've told you I've literally been sitting mixing a record thinking that someone else is going to have the same record as well,
Yeah.
but they never did that. And as well, you know the same situation. They said they weren't going to do that when when Buddy reached out and stuff. Remember, like a while back, you were telling me that sort of Matt or someone spoke to their team.
Yeah.
But see, like some people just are they fuck with you. They fuck with you. They fuck with
Yeah,
you.
they fuck with you. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've just seen it. That's why. But now I feel like you're right. As of lately, things like you said have been being done. But I feel like because artistry's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Like artists really controlling
Yeah.
their own records,
Yeah.
their own project of who they want on it, who they want to mix it, who they want to record it.
Like this.
I mean, look at Don.
This just yeah, exactly. Don
Don.
cohesive. Derek,
Yo,
every song.
Chris has always been cohesive because it's always been one person. but
Castelli does that too with Black.
Castelli-
We just did a song and Black actually reached out to me, and even though like I've worked with him and he knows everything, he's like, "Yo, you do your thing and make sure you're happy with
Right.
everything." But I want John to like touch it as well because so the record
Right. There's
is
a
cohesive. So
compromise that we have to have.
there's So
When-
sometimes the artist will fight for a mixer. That's very rare in our
But
world.
the
though.
main reason why they're fighting is because of their vocal, right? That's the
Yeah.
main reason,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Like they don't give a fuck too much about like a snare being a little bit here, a little bit there. They care about their vocal, and they think that
Number
their
one,
mixer can only do
vocal.
their vocal.
Yeah, drums are too, and then second, it like for some artists, they don't care about any of that shit. All they care about is file security.
That's another thing. is
I'm
file
not
security,
sending
100%.
my shit to anyone.
Right.
You know, buddy, you just recorded it as well, bro. You can help yourself to food as also. I'll just be.
We got
because,
flow, we got
Yeah,
flow in the
flow.
building too.
Yeah.
We got flow in the building too.
But yeah, again, it's kind of the default in rock is that you got usually the full album and they come. Actually, it's funny because especially like I want to say even Monty, but Adema, they always told me like if we do a new album, the vision was always with you mixing it in mind, which is it's kind of cool.
I'm way more proud as a body of work when I have a whole album.
Me too.
Like it just
Me
feels
too.
a little, and obviously I've had a lot of full albums, and I've also had like on for Cardi B's album example, I had like 5-6 songs, but it still felt to be dope to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a good question in here asking, at what point as an engineer do you speak up and ask, hey, I engineered the records. Is it possible for me to mix the records or at least be given a chance?
Yeah, that's
So,
exactly.
it's-
That's what both happened to both of us.
We both have done that. I think it's a very psychological thing for the managers. It's very psychological for the people that don't know about mixing. So this is a situation. The artist is cool with you mixing it, right? Like the artist is like, yeah, you're my boy, you're my engineer, of course. Like you give it a try, right? But you got to think about it. There's politics, especially if an artist isn't in full control. The A&R may be like, no, I'm having Bainz mix this or whatever. He does all the thug stuff. I want Bainz to mix this, right? So yes, there's a world where you can try to do it, but just know that there's going to be variables that are completely out of your control, and there's going to be politics involved. And I just know that you should definitely try to do it, and definitely always mix against whoever you can, right? And a lot of times you may come out not winning in your
Yeah.
mix, and it's not even not winning, right? Because subjectively you might feel like, oh, my mix is better, but it's like, yeah, but they hear something that you're not hearing. Right?
That's the thing with.
Or psychologically, oh, Serban did this, or Manny did this.
Oh,
and
dude,
you're-
I have
and
a
you're-
I have a
It's not
crazy
better or
story.
worse,
I have a
it's not a better. It's all everything is subjective.
everything. It is. I have a crazy story. I had to try to find a way to tell it without saying names. So
Oh, I know what
major,
he's talking about already.
major. This is for songwriting, major label, okay, and they were listening to potential new songs to give to artist X or artist Z,
Okay.
and everybody in the team knew that one of these songs was written by a big A-list artist, male, with red hair. and then what happened is they were listening to these songs and they were like, yeah, this is kind of cool, not really. And then the song that this guy wrote came, and everybody knew that he wrote it. He basically discarded it for himself, and the song wasn't that great. That's why he discarded it, right?
That's why.
But everybody knew that he wrote it.
Right.
So as soon as it started playing, the whole board was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! This is the best song of the
But they
day."
knew.
They knew.
That's the thing is this
Yeah.
is all a red pill, blue
Yeah.
pill thing. There's so many records that I feel like. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Like when I first heard No Guidance, like when we did it, I was like, oh, this song's fire. But I wasn't like, oh my god, this is a fucking hit
Yeah.
record. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
versus like
Go crazy.
Go Crazy even is the same thing. I was like, it's cool. Like
Nah,
it's
we
a
knew it
good
was a
song.
hit.
No, because it didn't blow up until November. We put it out in February.
Yeah.
But look, with No Guidance is a perfect example. It has Drake on the record, so there's a level of blue
Yeah.
pill, red pill where
Yeah.
you're just like, holy shit, Drake's on the fucking
Yeah.
record, right? But I was definitely not thinking like, oh, this a hit, right? Like some records where you're like, oh my God. But then now listening to it after it's been such a big record, now I hear it. Now I hear like, God damn, this shit's a hit. But it's like in the moment, you may not hear it.
No, it's true.
And then you hear even First Class. First Class is actually an even better example. Like we were literally, that was an album record that was just sitting like part of the album.
Yeah.
Cool sample, blah, blah. The second Jack leaked it in the studio, the shit blew up and we're still doing notes to the record.
Yeah.
And I'm on Instagram and it's like playing on Instagram and I'm also mixing it at the same time. And I was just like, I did not see that coming. Like, of course I knew that the song was cool
Yeah,
or
of
dope
course.
because it has that sample.
Yeah.
But to think that it would go #1 on Billboard at the point that I wasn't mixing the album or we were putting out Nail Tech and all these other records, I was like, no, hell no.
I think to some extent it's better when we don't know while we were mixing. For example, I got a song sent as a, they sent it to me and to another big engineer. And I got the album and I had no idea that they sent it to. Okay. So I had no idea. And they go like, okay, you do the album. At song number 4, the producer was sitting with me in the room and said like, by the way, do you know that we sent the first single to such and such and you won the album? And I was like, I'm glad that you didn't tell me at the time because otherwise I would have probably questioned my every move, mixing it, thinking, what is he gonna do? How do I can beat it? So I think it's better that we don't know because we just
That's
flow
actually
better,
true.
right?
That's actually true.
Also, it's better because the records that, for me, like it's never the records that I think are gonna go that go.
Every
It's
time.
always the other ones, bro.
It's
There's
the same
records that,
Residuals.
yeah,
That song has been around since 2018.
and it came back like so long.
And we kept trying to put it on the album and kept getting cut off.
and then songs that you think, bro, that Shabuzi Big X one. In my head, I was like, oh, this is gonna be #1, everything. Like
100%.
like it didn't break top 50, and I was like, damn, man. Like so
That's
like,
how it is.
I feel like when you think that it's gonna do that, you jinx yourself.
Which
and
is
the
why
record.
we should just think that every song we work on is trash. Because then we can guarantee mega hits.
But you know what though? There's something to be said about when you put pressure on yourself, and I'm glad I did because I fucking spent more time on the record than I would have. I gave it the attention to detail. I like tend to obviously I do that because it's a big album. I do it on everything, but sometimes when it's a big record, that listening to the car, like all that extra shit that we tend not to do. I did it. Now we tend not to do anymore as much.
Yeah.
Listening to the Bluetooth speaker and all
Everything,
that,
everything.
But then if it's big enough, like I,
Well,
I
okay.
do that too.
Question is this: do you feel like you're being criticized? I mean, not criticized, but critiqued, maybe more heavily on you as Bainz when someone listens to Young Thug, or when they listen to like a song that like you mixed, but like people weren't like, oh, that's obviously Bainz that mixed it, because you know what I mean? Like, do you feel more pressure mixing Thug than you feel regular stuff? Is a question.
It's very different because when I like Thug is his own sound,
Right.
and it's like everything that's on the record. It's not like because I wanted it, like, oh, I made those decisions.
Totally, you didn't
It's-
make every single
It's
decision.
a decision that he wanted that I found a way to to get
Work.
his idea out. So with that, it's a lot of it is it's his vision. So
Right.
like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure the vocals are clean. I'm gonna make sure it's all cleaned up
Right.
and stuff like that. But a lot of times, I would do things and he wouldn't like it.
100%, like something
with,
clean. That happens all the time.
with the it's not really, it's never with the vocals. The only thing he gets bothered with the vocals is sometimes the balance between the throws and the lead, because I'll clean up the lead vocals so much, and then the throws and
Yeah.
the ad-libs, like they won't like the same the relative levels between them will
Right.
kind of get changed. So that he would get annoyed with, and I've learned that. But the main thing is I would make the beat alive,
Yeah,
make
like
it punchy,
bring
that.
punch, but
And
that
when you
changes
get-
what the
and-
dynamics.
But it's not. It's just when you're used to hearing the demo, you just get used to that, and
'Cause it's
sometimes
smashed, right?
yeah,
For the most part.
yeah. So that's one thing. But then with other stuff, like I definitely take my time. I go all out in box. And there's some albums and there's some records where even with him where I have been able to, the records that I get, like a lot of records we've had for a while, and those are the ones that I get to mix properly and stuff. But when what it's like when album more in rap, like a lot of the records that make the album in the rap world are the ones that you've done in the past few weeks.
Right.
and those just happen to like those are quick. That at that point you haven't
Yeah.
slept, you have whatever,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
just like knocking through it. So.
You said something interesting that I think a lot of people forget when they criticize a mix engineer. We usually have a lot of freedom, but not all the time and not completely. So sometimes we might get our arm twisted a little bit, you know, and like I wouldn't have done it that way. I wouldn't have mixed it that way.
Yeah.
The artist or
happens.
the A&R, yeah,
My
exactly.
initial mix, or after I've checked it, because there's an initial mix where then I go check in the car, then I may make revisions, and then boom, that's my mix.
Mhm.
Anything beyond that,
Yeah.
and okay, there's I would say 40%, 35% of the time, the move they want to do, like turn the vocal up a half dB, all reasonable and within my
Yeah.
window.
I agree.
Totally.
Same. Yeah.
That's fine. That's still my mix.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, once we start getting into the point where it's like, oh, there's this frequency out of this thing that's missing. Can you bring it back? And that's something that you did to allow more space for the vocal, or
Yep.
whatever it might be, or just for the mix itself. And you're bringing that back, and now the mix is getting muddy there. Like the vocal's kind of getting lost. Like, oh, can you turn that vocal up? So now you're turning it. Now all of a sudden, the balance is being
It's
kind of
off,
thrown
yeah.
off.
That's not a, that's like that is not a rap song revision though. No one and no one is gonna say, can you bring that frequency that you took out up? And all
Totally,
that?
totally.
That's a like
That's
more like
when you
pop
give
stuff.
That division,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, yeah, that is 100% pop.
In rock, industrial, alternative.
For the rap, it's worse though, because
Yeah.
they're just like, why doesn't it sound like the demo? And then you're just like, I know why it doesn't sound like
See,
the fucking demo.
That's another big difference because usually the demos for instrument where there's real instruments. So I say rock, but includes rock, metal, alternative, indie, everything, right? They're not that great. They don't spend that much time on the demo like the hip hop or the pop world,
Yeah, the
where
pop
you
world.
receive it and you basically barely
Pop is
touch
there.
it. Like
And,
you
and
need
no, your mix basically sounds like their rough was at like 92%, and you're at
Exactly.
99.9 now.
yeah.
That's
on-
what it is.
On rock and these other genres, the rough is rough.
Yeah,
You
the
know
rough
what I
is
mean?
rough.
Like
I
the-
actually
the
prefer-
drums is like awful.
If the artist is willing to take something that sounds really awful,
yeah.
and obviously the mix is going to be worlds different because
Yeah.
because the difference in relativity to what you do versus where the demo is, that's where the change is, right? You're always going to mix, let's say here, right? And their demo might be here,
Yeah.
and their demo might be here. So, but the question is, if it goes far enough down, will the difference be too much for them to understand?
Yeah.
Some artists are cool with it,
Yeah.
but some you just got to keep it sounding like shit.
It also depends for how long they've been listening to the demo. Because I notice sometimes they get attached to something that it might not be important for the end result, but they have been listening to that
100%.
one thing
The
so
snare
often.
being way too loud,
Yeah.
or the vocal being
Yeah.
so on top of the beat,
Exactly.
and then they want it like that. I have one client that she just wants everything loud. Like, just
That's
can you go louder? We're at like
Yeah.
-4. I'm like, I want to be. She's like, I want to be the loudest person. And I was like, why would you want to be the loudest
Yeah.
person? Doesn't even make any fucking sense.
Yeah, also because it comes at a cost. That's
It's
the
a
part that they
massive
don't understand.
cost.
And that's
A
the other
massive
thing I
cost.
noticed, especially in like I don't know, this is like in every genre. When they get the worst thing for me, when they get used to distortion, when the demo is like smashed to oblivion and it already distorts and they already
Right.
digested that type of sound, they don't understand that that's bad.
I've had to then recreate that.
Yeah,
I've had
you
to
have to.
literally clip the drum bus, clip the music, and everything, clip everything, so I get that
Yeah.
that clipping sound, so it sounds similar to the demo, because that's what they want. Like, there's a lot of records where I have to do that. It's
Okay.
controlled though.
That's exactly what I was talking about when I said sometimes they blame the engineer, not understanding that maybe the demo was distorted and you gotta
There's
only so much you can do
There's,
because you
there's a
have to
lot of times
recreate
people
that.
have like people in the past have like said something about a particular song that's been mixed a certain way online, and I just don't say that. I was like, yeah, there's a reason why it sounds
Yeah.
like that. You think that like you heard the last record I did that you love so much, you think I
Right.
forgot how to mix overnight?
Yeah,
You think like, oh, this one I just forgot everything.
That-
There's a 100% a reason. Either we didn't have the the stems, which is a lot of times, or there's reasons that are above my pay grade.
Yeah.
But that leads into the whole other conversation of
Yes.
this. There's so many times where you'll do a mix for an artist who does everything really well, records well, and the mix sounds beautiful. You're just like, boom, puts it out. Then the next time you get a song is from someone who everything sounds like shit. They did through a Focusrite. So our mix is only going to be as good as we can be. We're never going to sound like that other record because all of these other things were done incorrectly.
I always say like our ceiling is our source material.
That's perfect.
And
way to
I
say
can
it.
take a 3 to an 8, but I can't take a 3 to a 10. I can take a 6 to a 10. We are only good as the material that we
can
get
only get so good because
Yeah.
there's some stuff that's done so well that I'm just like, God, that's the best
Oh.
mix I ever done in my life.
Also, the thing is, I think people think by default, like, okay, major artists, big this thing, they're 100% working the best studio, best gear, best acoustic environment
100%.
in the live room in a silent environment. That never happens. It never happens. And a lot of times you're getting stuff, bro. Like there's albums that album we were just talking about it was all recorded in an Airbnb. Like imagine I still have
in here, no,
I
right
still
in
have
here.
art. Yeah, imagine like putting a mic in the middle of this room and that's it. You know, like I still have couches. Airbnbs don't have that much furniture, so it's way more.
don't have
And
rugs or
and
anything,
it was
yeah.
way bigger. You know, this is like a mansion kind of thing.
There's a question about my plugin.
Oh, yeah, I did
When's
ask.
Tubas coming out? Bainz is your Tubas as well already. So my 2 plugins actually, because those are the first 2 of the line that I'm doing with Metric Halo and Make Believe Studio, are coming out at the end of March. So we're good. And us 3, we already filmed a very candid, very cool video where we're testing it, and yeah, we'll have more of our friends testing it, Stu and a bunch of other cool people.
Yeah.
It's coming out at the end of March. Is my 2 bus and also Howie Weinberg NTP limiters, and then there will be more to come with Metric Halo and Make Believe.
I don't even want to pigeon-toe it as only 2 bus.
You're right.
Because I'm going to
That's
tell you
what I
right now,
said.
if for me, right, it's not on my 2 bus, but it's in a lot other places.
Yeah.
Like you have a choice, like put it on the 2 bus or use it in ways that it can be
Yeah.
used and pushed to bring sounds out, to bring, like I said, there's a record that I'm doing that's really big coming out that there's a section where I used this thing to create something dope with it, right? I'm not gonna spoil it. And I was just like, it should be called fucking every bus. I don't know. Like it's it's really great.
Yeah, no,
And
but
the
I
3
actually-
sections, that's what really helps. The fact that you can like
Yeah.
you know isolate.
Yeah.
You know, there's a really dope question here, Teezio. Wait, where's it going? It's from my boy in Ibiza. How do you find that balance between turning in a safe mix and an out there mix? Shout out to Tofi Music from Ibiza. Dude, that's a really good one. And that happened to me recently. And like, I was working with a new client. And basically, there was this song and everything about it was great. They sent it like, you know, when you get those and you're like, first I just put all the stems in her and I was like, oh, this is like, what do I even do? It's like, you know, done. And then obviously once you start, it was night and day and all.
Right.
But there were these like horns in there that I was just like hearing like Imagine Dragon vibes. They were like very tucked and very subtle in the thing, but I think I like probably added like, you know, 15, 20 dB from where they were.
Yeah.
Jacked up the bottom end. I ran it through the VT5 and I like literally I had like 8 or 9 dB at like 140 where it really juiced it up. And when I sent it to him, that was the one thing I told him. I said, by the way, there's just one
I
thing
did
I've done
this.
over there.
Yeah.
I've done it as a stylistic thing. If you don't like it, I'll go back. I didn't want to send him 2 options.
Yeah.
I like normally I would do 2 options. But if it's something that bold, I would just be like, you know, this is a version without it, this is one version with it. But right away he was like, perfect, I love it. I see what you're going for. It was cool.
Yeah.
So,
I like bold.
yeah.
I don't like safe. If you
Exactly.
don't piss anybody off,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
didn't do
yeah.
your job, you know. But
We're gonna-
yeah, so I don't send 2 options when I do something like that, but I do tell them like, if you don't like it, I don't take
Yeah.
offense. Like this is just me suggesting something. If you don't like it, we're good.
This also happened many years ago, and I don't want to mention names now because we're all friends. But 2 of my really good friends were mixing the same album. One of them is in the room right now. So, and the objectively better mix didn't win because the other guy did this one little effect in the track that was crazy. Like it was like a filter free section breakdown in the beat and
Uh-huh.
everything, and everyone like went crazy about that. Like so much so that they were like, "Can we take that effect and put it in this mix?" But everyone was like, "Nah, that's a little shady." They didn't wanna do that. So luckily they didn't. I mean, they didn't do that. But that was you. You remember what I'm talking about, Teezio?
Yeah. I'm trying to not say anything.
I do tend to, so at some point, especially at the beginning of my career, you get to mix shit that you don't necessarily like. right? And for me, I came up with this theory that if you do this professionally for a living, you kind of have to find beauty one way or another in what you mix. Meaning, for me to get the mix done and to put effort in it, like truly put effort, I need to like something about it. So I attach to maybe a detail or a special effect or something that I can
I hate the record, but this one thing gets
it's
me
cool,
going.
right? And so now that taught me to kind of try to do that on every mix and to add like a one thing that
The
is
one
like,
thing, the
even
one
if
little
you hate
thing.
everything else, like listen
I
to how
like that,
cool is
yeah,
that?
yeah.
You know?
But also that's a
They're like,
really
we
good
hate the
point.
mix. You're like, but did you hear that one
Yeah.
part though?
Even when starting records, sometimes I'll like find like obviously there's a structure that we try to do, but sometimes I'll find what inspires me the most or what makes me have the most fun in the record. I'll work on that, then I'll get in the zone, then I'll start like doing that when you're just like, oh, this shit sucks, that you just need to find something to make it fun and creative.
It's one of those things where it's like, as much as people may not think it is, it's very artistic.
It is.
Right? Like today when I got up, I was doing some stuff and then like I was just answering emails and I kind of got in a bad mood. And when I went to go work, I was like, I don't even feel like working right now. So I went and rolled up. And then after I rolled up, I was like, oh shit, let's go. So then I went back in the studio. So it's a feeling thing. Like, it's not like I'm going in there and punching numbers. Like,
No.
if I'm not feeling like doing this, then I'm not excited to do it, which means I'm probably not going to do as good of a job.
Yeah,
And
100%.
that's just
That
what it
was my
is.
reason to try to find something that I like.
You can
in
always
every
find
song.
something.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even the record. Maybe it's a
Wait,
relationship. we're
Hang
trying
on
to
a
Yeah.
second. Can we turn up the volume on the mic?
Oh, yeah, let's turn it up. How do we do that?
Is there a gain thing? Can we turn it up somehow?
God damn, bro. I don't
Hey,
know.
okay,
I don't
that's
even
better.
record anymore. I don't even know how to use
1 2
this
1
shit.
2.
Is that
Hello,
better?
hello. Talk that talk.
We
Also-
didn't want to clip.
Also, there's a question over here. It says, Teezio, in your mix breakdowns, everything is clipping. How do you go about gain staging? First of all,
What?
nothing is clipping. And second of all, y'all will never meet anyone in your life that can work a compressor better than this guy.
But what do you mean clipping? Nothing's ever
Nothing
clipping
is
in my
clipping.
session.
Nothing is clipping. But
I
that being
think he was
said,
just trying to
no-
bully me, bro. He's trying to bully me. No way, bro. But I saw a really good question in here. Is the mic better? Okay. There's a question saying how important is the room and the treatment versus equipment?
It's everything in the room.
I think the room, in my opinion, accounts for 60 to 70% of the sound of a speaker.
Yes.
Now, I've heard my exact PMCs in other rooms, and I was like, needs a sub. It's cool. Something's not right.
Yeah, 100%.
In my room,
I don't think
works
that
perfectly.
should be a debate. I don't think it should be a debate.
But
at
I
this
think
point.
a lot of people are set on like, oh, this guy uses this speaker. I want to use the speakers he uses. But
No.
it's like you may not ever hear what he's hearing in your room.
100%,
with those speakers. And I
yes.
think that kind of leads me to think like you need to find speakers that will work in your space.
and for recording too.
Recording 100%.
Yeah.
Like in the recording environment, I'd say like the acoustics matter more than the gear.
Oh yeah, well yeah, absolutely, because that goes into your mic. That the room goes into your recording.
Like Loki and like Flo's here right now too, and Neil attests to this. There's multiple times that we've done like location recordings and again like Airbnbs or in Jamaica where we're looking at the ocean, but there's a door here and a door here and a wind tunnel and all of that stuff and crickets and stuff. In those situations, the Telefunken or the C800, these mics are not going to work.
They have poor rejection.
They
You're
have
better
really
off
bad
with
rejection,
an
and, like,
SM7.
Bro, we literally figured out we use these the Townsend mic. It's a stereo mic.
know it.
But what the you can emulate other mics.
Yeah.
But what you can do is you can very precisely dial in the polar pattern.
Yeah.
So what we did was what polar pattern has the tightest front response?
The hypercardioid.
Hypercardioid, yes, but even tighter than hypercardioid is figure of 8.
Yeah, I was thinking the sides would be blind.
The
and
sides
deaf.
are blind,
Yeah.
but you get the back.
Yeah.
So you
But you put something in
so
the back.
you treat the fuck out of the back.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what you can treat. You can pad the front of the back, and then you get all the wind tunnel. Bro, we literally was sitting there for hours, like dialing in the polar pattern of the mic to figure it out. And like that came from old school, like back in the day. How do you do singer songwriter, and how do you get the guitar vocal and get the rejection?
Yeah,
figure of
exactly.
8
For
sound?
drums is the same. If you put on toms a figure 8, so you put the cymbals on the blind spot on the sides. But actually, one musicals I like the 818 from Austrian Audio because it goes in between patterns. It's like continuous,
Okay.
so it's not like click click click.
Yeah.
It goes continuous, and you can control it from your app. So you can literally be in the control room.
Yeah.
And you have the mic in the live room, and with your phone, you just
You can control the
slide
input,
the
yeah.
pattern, and it's
The pattern.
continuous.
Which one is this?
Is the Austrian Audio A18.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's great.
It's beautiful.
There's some other ones too where you can like dial like the tube saturation and all, but like
Yeah.
being able to dial in the polar pattern
Yeah.
is so clutch.
And it smoothly goes from cardioid to figure eight to omni. Like you can see the pattern changing continuously as opposed to clicks.
Yeah,
That's the mic that I use on Bella. Just to give you a reference
Yeah,
of how
yeah.
it sounds. Yeah. But it's cool. I have a question. Like, where do you guys start your mix from? I always start from the drums.
Yeah, same kick.
Yeah.
Kick.
Yeah.
Kick is the first thing because you got to. This is what I think.
Yeah.
The drums are the foundation to a home.
Yep.
Okay. Now, and it's funny because I just got it yesterday. I got a song and they didn't have the drums split out. And I said, "Can I get it split out?" 2 days ago. They're like, "We're gonna try to get them." They couldn't. The producer wasn't answering. They're like, "We have a tight deadline. Can you mix it?" I said, "Okay, fine. I'll do it with the drums." I did it, and then when it got, I sent them the mix, and then they go, "Oh yeah, you were right. We should have used the stem out for the drums, right?" So they sent me the drums. I had to go, and I told them, I was like, in order for me to replace this, it's the equivalent of me taking the foundation out from under a house and then sliding a new one underneath. You have to knock down the house first, right? Now, in this case, I didn't actually have to knock it down. I was able to basically do something where I leveled the drums on solo so that they were very similar in level. So then when they dropped into the actual mix, they were roughly there, right?
I had to do the same because they swapped me program
In-
drums with live drums.
In terms of a
With
mix,
live,
mix-
but that's
yeah.
harder though.
It is
Because
hard.
You're dealing
So,
with
yeah.
fucking
you're
hard.
dealing with loss versus
Yeah.
I'm dealing with the opposite.
Yeah.
Their 2-track has loss, and my stems have beef. So now
Yeah.
I'm just compressing and detransiting and getting it to sit more like the demo. But you were in the opposite.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, obviously start with kick then 808, but a lot of times what I do is I'll start with the vocal, not
See?
in terms of the EQing and whatever and shit. But the reason is, when I'm editing the vocal and doing all my vocal cleanup, I want to move as fast as I can. Once I start mixing, and this is different now that I have the M4, but back in the day, my workflow was do when I want my computer to be snappy, boom, 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 all my vocal cleanup, edit all my major vocal shit, then I'll mix and then I'll start, because once I add a few acousticas, my system used to start getting bogged out and I can't edit and it fucks with me.
Oh,
So
okay, but that's that reason.
that
But I
that,
wouldn't-
that, that was
that was the only
now
reason
I'm
I
on the
would do it.
M4, so now I don't need to do that as
Yeah.
much. But it was that's why.
It sounds more like that's more closer to mix prep.
It is prep, but there's still it is prep, but sometimes it's like a lot of the my vocal shit goes I'm constantly doing this even in the mix process. A lot happens in prep, but then I just sometimes all the vocal cleanup shit I'll try to do when I at least in the past I would do it when I have the most processing available, and then when the computer starts slowing down, then I can do it.
Makes sense. But also because probably some things you hear as you at top end at saturation.
Yeah, in terms of tonal shaping and all, that will definitely happen after instruments are in. But sometimes you don't need the instruments in to hear resonances or to hear clicks and to hear isotope RX, all this shit that I have to do. So that's what I like.
For sure.
Yo, this guy is it's fucking annoying. Scream 4290s. You got to go in the order of importance. If drums are more important than the vocals, then you start with the drums. I think that's. Let me give you an example. When you're building a house, right? Your bedroom and your kitchen are the most important parts to you, right? But you don't start with those things. You start with the foundation. You start with the wood, and you start with the paneling. Just because you love your bedroom doesn't mean you start with the bedroom first.
Yeah, no,
The bedroom is the most important part. So build the bedroom first. Where's the foundation? Where's the rest of the house?
Yeah.
Come on, Scream 4290. Tripping.
It's funny that even different genres, I
always start with the drums.
I
There's
always start with
songs that I don't have drums. I actually did an acoustic song today that had bass and then
Yeah.
music. I started with the bass.
Yeah.
The bass was the first thing because I start with what's going to take up the most room in the mix.
Yeah.
That you need to start with first so that you know how much you have left.
Plus, I don't know about you, but when I say I start with drums, I still have everything else going. Maybe 12 dB lower, but I need to hear everything, right? In concert, because Many times people mix in solo and your kick is perfect in solo. You spend 3 hours on it and then you open the mix and the kick disappears. Like, you know, especially when you have like
Yeah, but if
tons
you
of
start with
guitars.
the kick first and that doesn't happen, the only thing that you may need to do after you start bringing elements in is going back to the kick and saying the kick is slightly too loud, the kick is slightly too low, I need to put a sidechain compressor to the bass. You go back for those things to the kick. But if you start with the kick, when you start mixing the kick, it's the only thing in the mix.
Yeah, no,
It's
no,
just
I know.
by itself. You
I
should
know.
be able to.
And
Yeah.
especially for electronic music.
100%.
Many,
I saw
many
with
times-
all the
live
drums.
Many
shit, that's a
times
little different.
in rock, when you have like walls of guitars,
Yeah.
if you mix without listening to them, even if you lower them 15 dBs,
Yeah.
right, just as a background, what happens is you bring them up and the kick gets swallowed because of masking.
100%.
Yes, so
But
that's
there's different
the only
things
thing.
you can do to,
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
to-
yeah.
to combat that. A lot of it, like I've been doing a lot of sidechain. I get those.
I said chain
respaces.
fucking everything.
When you those respaces that you get,
Yeah.
where it's like just a lot of low end, not even a transient, it's just a lot of low end. You take the kick. The kick sometimes gets swallowed up, and
Yeah.
especially as it changes notes and the frequencies change. So you just put a side chain compressor to shoot off the kick to push down the
Yeah.
res a little bit. Another one is the what's the one that we put on the vocal track spacer. I put that on my vocal bus. And so basically the vocals trigger, or sorry, I put it on my music bus and the vocals trigger the music to dip down when the vocals are singing, and that opens up the mix.
I
for
do.
me.
I sidechain everything, and I
In
Listen-
rock, you have to.
yeah. I mean, I think I told you when we were at my place last time, because apparently a lot of people got surprised by this. I sidechained the cymbals of the drums with the S's of the vocals. So when the singer sings the S's, the cymbals get knocked down a little bit. So yeah, that was one of the last one. I'm gonna have a cigarettes while I'm reading the chats.
Where should we roll outside with where's the phone at?
It's right there.
We'll go outside and have
Okay.
a couple of ciggies.
Moving locations.
We're moving locations. Okay, Romney 604. Then if everyone uses the track spacer, I guess I'm the last one of the party. Damn, bro. Fucking hater. Fucking hating and shit. I've been using the track spacer. I just decided to let y'all know today. Damn. Fuck wrong with y'all? You got a lighter?
We can.
Put 'em in the damn song. Put 'em in the
Actually,
damn
should we
song.
go? Let's sit over there.
I gotta check the chat. Don't fall in the pool. Don't push me in the damn pool.
I'm not gonna. That would be so weird.
Bro, it was so windy last night. This shit is so dusty. Windy as
This
hell.
morning was like crazy windy.
Yeah.
We have microphones with us.
I got
mine.
with me.
Okay.
Okay.
We got the mic.
Oh, where did the video go? Okay, the chat. Chat, where we at? Chat.
AL1 is elite. What y'all think? Let me give me a mic.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that because
Give
it's
it to
AL1. AL1 is elite. What y'all think? I tried them. I tried it. Actually, these two guys brought it to me because I mean, I knew it, but I didn't spend enough time because it's in alpha version, not even beta, and I think it's badass. We are actually have a video coming, kind of another candid video that we did on my place because we were literally trying it.
Yeah.
We were literally trying it, and
Yeah,
you
it was the first time I really dove in
Yeah.
extensively as well.
and we tested it against some heavy hitters, and you know I'm not gonna spoil the surprise because the video is gonna come out soon. But AL1 is a pretty badass limiter, I gotta say,
Yeah.
and I'm very picky. I mean, we all are, but I do a lot of mastering as well. So you know,
No, that's literally like changing anything on my master bus is a very it takes a lot of thought, and it has to have its place. And when we first tried it out, it was crazy because like the way we first got it, it was like I felt like it was like one of those things that everyone was talking about on like in group chats and stuff, and like it just got shared around like it was like some new shit. And we've seen it like come a long way and get developed in the process. I think it's dope, man. It's really
yeah,
fucking
there's a
dope.
lot of people liking the L1 on the chat, and there's also someone said Bainz, how you get so jacked because he's training with me now.
Exactly. Yeah, see, there's the answer, man. There's the answer.
But Teezio is getting jacked
I'm
too.
slowly
Like
getting there.
he's
I'm
like
a little bit slower because I got
he's got a pump cover right
I
now.
got, I got
But
a pump cover.
I
yeah.
can vouch for Teezio as well because he's training with me as well, and he's getting
getting
strong.
Hey, you know what it is? I've literally I've spent years of my life beating up my body, all nighters working, and you know when I wasn't working, I was celebrating the work I had done by partying, and it came to a point where I just needed to change that, and I really do feel like I fucked up by by posting all those pictures late night in the studio and all of that grind time, grind non-stop and shit. So now I'm like trying to change it, and you guys are watching my evolution into a fitness influencer.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna
all
start
of
selling
us-
supplements now.
all of us have to all of us have to go through that in our careers where you basically grind the fuck out of everything. You eat, sleep, shit, breathe Pro Tools.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point where you're like, okay, now I need to understand how I can make better use of my time instead, especially now that I'm mixing and I'm not recording and I have my own schedule that I can set. You've learned.
Yeah.
And now you're ready to just do your own thing. And you make it how you want. I get up early.
Yeah. I
6
mean,
a.m.
we're blessed, no doubt, and I'm pretty sure we all went through a time in which we couldn't pick and choose, and we had to like keep our head down and just work.
100%.
But at some point you realize that one is not really sustainable for long
It's
period
definitely
of
not.
time.
No.
It's not.
And even if it is physically, I don't think it is mentally.
No, exactly. It's not mentally. It's not, because at that point you live to work instead of working to live.
Exactly.
And then you walk, you look back and you got nothing. Like you got
100%.
no. Because that's a good subject. I want to break down with you guys. The definition of success. Because I read something that were saying like if you're just rich and you don't have any personal relationship or friends and family, you're not
Accomplishments,
successful.
yeah.
You're just rich,
Okay.
right? And at the same time, said like if you have a relationship and you have a family, but you let your family live under a bridge, you're also not successful because
That makes
you can't-
sense.
You can't provide.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And
So success isn't necessarily one tangible thing then.
exactly.
It can be whatever it means from your perspective, from you. And
I think balance is directly related to it because you gotta have that some kind of balance. Like for example, this is silly, but before I met Bella, I was still in the workout mindset. I had no fucking life. People say like, how do you know so much about things like off top of my head? Because I spent 7 years just doing that every fucking day, 20 hours
on
a
the
day.
computer, studying,
Exactly.
studying.
Studying all the time, and then you go home and you kind of feel like not that great because that's your life and that's all your life, and it's not really successful.
But you also need to understand, like in your young years, you have to get to where I'm at now. I'm 35.
You have to.
I gave up my entire. I mean, I started working for Juicy J when I was 18 out of high school.
You have.
So from 18 to 26, 26 is when I got with Chris.
Yeah.
So from 18 to 26, you eat shit. Then
Yeah.
then I got with Chris, and I started to then, 2016 start to gain some and then I met Bainz in 2020. So it was like that whole thing until 2023. So I spent 2016 to 2023 with Chris and a little more elevated than I was in the years before. And then 2023, I started mixing full time, and now we're 2026.
Yeah.
And it's like now I feel like
got a
I'm
bunch of
finally,
words.
yeah, we're finally getting to the place.
Yeah, but there is that time in which you just fucking grind.
You grind.
There has to be that time. The famous.
And it doesn't have to stop. I'm not saying it has
No,
to
no, no, no.
stop. Like even now, I definitely there's times like I'll be at the studio like 2-3 days straight. I still will find out we have a I any studio that I'm in now I've got a pull-up bar over there. I figure out ways to make it work. Just doing fucking air squats and push-ups and fucking pull-ups.
I think we all still do it. I mean, I'm coming from 3 days of hardcore tracking drums, right? But it's not 24/7, 265 days a year.
Right.
Because that's kind of crazy.
But the thing about it, I'm in the studio still every fucking day.
I'm in the studio
I
every
wake up
day.
I wake up in the studio. I'm there, even if I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting in the studio talking
too.
on the phone, emailing, whatever.
too. Me too.
That's something you guys have over me. I don't have that yet.
Yeah.
But we also
You will.
It's part of like
Wait,
I
so we go
still
inside
have
cooking?
I still have very much passion for this. Like I feel blessed to wake up every morning and my job is mixing music. I
course,
feel
of
like
course.
absolutely fucking blessed.
Yeah, of course. course. I mean, it's a blessing to get to work on music every day and do all the shit we do.
I just want to interject because there's people asking about. A lot of people have been asking about the gain staging. It's not just like a thing that like I could just while I'm sitting here in the sun just
Okay,
like,
come, let's go inside.
But
Let's
like
go
at the
inside.
same time, it's such a deep thing. It's not like I could just be
but-
like, oh, gain staging is just this is here, this is there. Like it's so complex and every changes for every single song. So I don't think that this is going to be the video where we're going to talk about gain staging. I would like to.
I mean, we could like
It's
just
just- it's just like- it's-
basically when you get a record, you just see what's there and you just the most basic way to explain it is just bring everything down, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then there's ways to bring it down. If you get if it's stems, you can just bring them down. If it's not stems and it's something that's going through processing and stuff like that, then you have to use VCAs and there's just ways to do it.
yeah, it's just not a cut and black thing that I could just be like, oh, this is it. Like I wish I could, but it changes. Like every single song is slightly different.
It
It
changes.
really is.
Not only that, it also depends. Like for example, I mix mostly on analog. Like my mixes are console one on every channel, SSL style, and then hardware. Almost the only plugins that I use are reverbs and delays, and then some special processing, like I don't know, some dynamic EQ or something like that. Gain structure changes massively when you use all that hardware.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
100%. But there's gain staging within everything. Within the
Yeah.
box, there's gain staging. Within
Everything.
the outboard gears, gain staging.
That's the main
And
thing.
it's all different.
Once-
but also,
once
sorry,
it hits a-
also it depends on like the mix that you were telling me when we were at my place. You got 5 tracks and vocals. The mix that I'm doing now has 140.
Yeah.
The gain station is fucking different.
It's
you know?
different.
Where-
100%.
When they ask like where the kick should be, I don't know how many tracks you fucking have.
And the crazy part
'Cause,
is-
you know,
Yeah,
this is
that's
the crazy part. This is the crazy part. When I'm mixing a record that has a ton of tracks, when those records where like everything is squashed, it's like a pop record where it just sounds super like tight. When you get the stems, they don't sound like that. The stems sound super
No,
dynamic,
yeah.
right? And what I think is really important where people get lost is they immediately try to make the drums the squish level that they have in the demo from the very first bat of the first stage of gain stage. They try to get it to sound like that. What happens to me is I allow the natural gain staging and flowing through compressors to slowly bring my drum transient and dynamics down to where the mix is instead of immediately trying to go massive squashing. So it sounds like the demo, and now I'm here, but there's other levels of compression that are going to happen throughout gain staging that'll re-compress those drums. So if anything, it kind of changed. I just got to get it to a point where it's like it's tight, but it could use a lot more tightness, and that just happens naturally as I enter my levels and bring in other instruments
yeah.
and hit the music bus, and it's just like there's a lot. It's
But
just-
there's another thing. Just because I saw a comment earlier, I don't know where is it right now. You guys need to understand something that many times when you see videos, whether it's me showing a piece of gear, or Teezio doing something with Mixmaster or Bainz, whatever, we're just recreating something that we did on a mix for the video. So if something is off in the video, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that it was that off in the mix. We're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
recreating it for the video, and who knows what other variables are happening for the video.
100%.
Like, don't take.
But that
you know-
goes for everything, right?
Yeah.
Every single
Yeah, 'cause
song has different
the
variables.
the songs were mixed, like a lot of them, the songs were mixed analog,
Analog,
whatever, and
exactly.
then have to like, okay, how do I make an in the box version of this real quick just to demonstrate?
I was talking to Tom Lardalgi, and he was telling me he recreated, I think it was a Blink 92, 182, and he was telling me how hard it was to get it to a point in which the mix in the boxes he was doing, I think it was mixed with the master,
Yeah.
and he had to bring all in the box and
Yeah.
to make it kind of sound
Yeah.
ballpark the same. And of course, he's probably gonna show things that maybe some things did it different in the actual mix,
Right.
but it's for the video. Like, if we want to teach you guys, we have to find a way to pass the message that is important and
Yeah.
But
eliminate
also-
the details that
Yeah,
are
yeah.
only applying to
shouldn't-
your room or my setup.
Right.
Because sometimes, like, I did a video for a sub, like a 5-inch sub, and it was like, "Oh, but are you using it? You're not me. You don't have my studio. It doesn't matter if I use it. I
Right.
think it's gonna be good for you
Yeah.
that you have a home studio with a
With
laptop.
something there that needs a sub.
If
right.
if I only feature the shit that I use, it's probably
Right.
out of budget for most of you.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, you don't have my room and you don't have my gear. And
I
my
think there's a
setup.
difference between what we think is good or usable and something that we necessarily
Yeah.
choose to want to use. I can
Exactly.
think that a piece of outboard gear is great, but that doesn't mean I have to purchase it and use it on my mixes because I think I
Yeah.
like it. I like a lot of things.
Exactly.
I don't have all those
And
things.
and like for me, like back to gain stage again, like I have to, because the first thing this shit's gonna hit is a tube.
Yeah.
And if I don't gain stage it, the shit's it'll
Off.
go to shit. So that's the first thing I just have to do to begin with. Like that's something that just doesn't even, like I actually don't even think about, because once the session's prepped, it's
Second
that's
nature.
already happened.
Yeah, second nature. The same for me. Like I have like at least 3 pieces that I use, which my plugin is partially modeled after,
Right.
right? And I hit them always at the same level. Like I can be 1 or 2 dB more or less, depending on how aggressive or if I want it cleaner.
Yeah.
But yeah, that becomes second nature. You know,
Yeah.
especially you were telling me that you never mess with your 2-bus gain staging
I
levels
mix
because
into it, yeah, I
I-
know how to
yeah,
hit it,
exactly.
and because like one click off and your recalls are just gonna go to shit. So
Yeah.
like anything that has an output level or input level, I leave it alone. I mix into it. Yes, if I'm obviously that's outboard, I'm just there to be used for a reason. I'm gonna EQ, I'm gonna compress, blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and then the stuff that has digital recall has digital recall. So,
yeah, thank God. And I think I was telling you, we were talking about the new version that is coming, HG2.
Mhm.
I was telling you, I love the HG2. I don't always mix into it, but when I
Mhm.
do mix into it, I tend to not touch anything until the mix is approved,
yeah.
because a hair off that unit changes everything.
Yeah.
You know.
And I learned this from like years ago. Like I was doing like trial and error. Like I was like I was like, let me do this. This mix needed it. I was like using everything, and then my mastering engineer, when it came time for like alts and stuff, because we do the record, we move to the next time extract, then you have to go back to the revisions, and one thing off. I mean, not revisions, deliverables. One thing off, it fucks up every
Everything,
version.
yeah.
And he's like, dude. That's when I was like, yo, I need to standardize this.
Yeah.
So even like
Yeah.
like again, these are like for stuff that's notched, that then we're lucky, but the stuff that's not, even if it's like one hair off, it's a big
it's
difference.
off. It's off because it's the whole mix.
Yeah.
Try add 1 dB on the top end of the whole mix.
Exactly,
It feels
yeah,
like
yeah.
so much.
Lots of questions about panning.
Panning.
Yeah.
I pan old school LCR,
Yeah.
and I do only exceptions for toms on drums, and maybe some ear candy guitar.
Yeah.
That will, that is for static panning. Of
Yeah.
course, then shit moves around left and right
Yeah.
at all times. But I pan old school LCR
You don't use in between.
No.
Okay.
just for toms on drums.
I'll sometimes move a hat out of the center just to get out of the way of vocal, just a hair. Sometimes ad libs or doubles, obviously. And then in music wise, like I'll try to, because a lot of this stuff is stereo anyway. I'll use I might not just like, I'll use a width plugin or something, or like
To
that type of
tilt,
stuff
yeah, I use
exactly.
S1 usually just
Yeah.
to tilt the image.
Yeah,
But you said you mix ad libs and doubles, not hard pan,
not hard pan.
not hard pan, not
hard-
even doubles.
Not hard pan.
Really?
No, it like if it comes hard pan to me like that, yeah. But different artists are different. Thug in particular likes everything in the center.
Even
if
the
he stacks it,
doubles?
even if he doubles, he'll purposely do that.
Yeah.
Then what I'll do is if I want something to whatever, I'll micro shift it or something to make it feel like whatever, and have the dry in there as well, that to fake a stereo to make it seem whatever. But some people don't like it. I've tried it. He doesn't like it.
That's
so,
funny. That's
so in
interesting.
that particular case, yeah. But otherwise, so ad libs, it would be like, if it depends. If if I have a stack double, like 2 of them, I'll probably do 75. Like I won't.
Oh,
won't-
I always have 2 doubles. That's why I ask.
Yeah.
For me, the doubles are always so. For me, the lead vocals when I'm producing or I get asked.
Yeah. So yeah. So do so. But you do 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I'll use like, because
do
I used to
100.
do. Huh?
I do 100.
Because
like,
I
for
was doing
width.
so much fucking like R&B sessions back in the day. I came up doing like, back when we had like, bro, it was like the lead was 4, then you had harmonies, up low harmony, high harmony, mid harmony, stacks and stacks and
Yeah.
stacks, so many of them. So I would like in my head, I would try to keep the lower frequency, the lower harmonies to
Closer,
closer,
yeah.
and then just I would start using the space to fill it out.
The only time that I do that is with orchestras.
Okay.
Even if I have stacks and stacks of background vocals and harmonies,
Yeah. But
I might pen the
you
low
don't-
octave 50, but
Slightly, yeah.
it's always
in terms of instruments though, like when you like because you do so much band stuff,
Yeah.
you don't like sometimes you don't like visualize them on stage and be like, okay, buddy's over there, I gotta move that there or
but
something.
I do that with EQ and reverbs.
Okay, that's
So,
interesting.
Yeah, which is harder,
yeah.
you know. But once they are all like out,
Mhm.
then for me EQ moves them front
Front
and
and back,
forward.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay,
reverbs
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. What do you guys prefer? PMC A2 or ATC?
PMC.
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 I
It's
actually-
about your room though.
Yeah.
Again, we shouldn't just clock it to being like,
Yeah.
oh, Bainz uses PMC or you use ATC. It should just be like, what works better in my room?
Yeah.
for my-
Generally speaking, though, I do because I mix with ATCs at Dweeezil.
Uh-huh.
It took me so long to get used to
I
that
would never be
mid-range
able to.
and top end.
I died in
Yeah.
Paris. I was dying. Those
It's-
ATCs are atrocious.
Yeah.
We
and,
have
uh,
I have a pair,
Bose speaker is better than ATCs.
I have the 45s at the studio and I have the 82, so I could say I have both pairs and I have the ATCs in the other room. And for me personally, the PMCs I'm able to dial in details faster. That's why I like it.
Yeah. What gear is on from the start when you mix? I will start. Neve 542s. Usually either the NG bus compressor or the dangerous compressor. If it's a ballad or something more vintagey or as a different vibe than the Stam 670. And I don't start with EQs. I don't start with anything else. I will add that later if I need to. And I usually end up with the Fusion high frequency compressor or the HG2. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And one EQ, which could be 825, API 5500, or the SPLPQ, whatever. But I add that later. It's usually just 542s, one VCA compressor, and that's how it starts.
My shit starts with everything going out to the summing mixer, the 5059. Then from there it'll hit the fusion, and that's usually by default doing a smiley face.
Yeah.
Just very little, like I think it's like 2 to 3 dB.
Even
at
less, I saw yours
it's
at-
it's
it's
even
like
less.
1 dB
It's
and a
it's whatever
half.
one
Yeah,
click,
yeah,
whatever that
one
first
click,
click is. And that's you know you saw it like at 16 and
Yeah.
at 50 or 40, whatever it is. I used to like that drive, but it adds noise, so
Too much
I've
noise,
stopped
yeah.
using. I've never used it. Like I haven't used it in years. And then the HF compressor, love that.
Got it.
That's what I changed. And then a one click on the depth, one click on the
Yep.
width. I have that, and then that stays on. The VT5 with everything kind of default. Everything nothing
Unity.
at Unity except for the high 28K cut.
Yeah.
Then I have the Wes Audio NG bass comp.
Yeah, the same as that.
That's the only thing that's not on from the beginning. And the only reason is because I have the ability to bypass that. I obviously I have the ability to bypass everything with the Pro Patch, but it's just that plugin stays inactive until like it comes on pretty quick. But that's the one that I have to manually put on. And then the Neve, the Portico Master Bus processor, that also has by default. I use the Blue Silk at 9 o'clock, so whatever, 15%, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And then depending on the record, I could boost that. The depth and the width I'll use if I want it or not. I keep the limiter, I keep the gain at all the same times. Once in a while, I'll have to bring the limiter down, but that's when I was hitting it like too hard.
Yeah.
Or it's usually when the mix is done and then the revisions are like jack up the lower, jack
Yeah,
up more bass,
yeah.
more this, more that. When I'm already at the then I'm like, oh, I have to do something. Another trick I've been doing when I need that is when I'm mixed and everything and they just want more because of how the demo sounded. The Better Maker and the master limiter
Yeah.
too. I put that on my drums and bass separately.
Okay.
So I don't have to change anything in the box.
Yeah.
and that one little extra oomph, it's able to, because it has a clipper and everything, it's able to get that up. So that's something that I add on and off only case by case situations.
It's funny how similar we are, because if you think about it, your master bus has the same silk that my 542s. We both has the NG bus. Your main EQ for me it changes, but it's on the same. It could be the pool tech,
Yeah.
or could
But
be the.
I can't, like, maybe 4 or 5 mixes where I've actually on the mix bus EQ'd, like added something on the Fern.
Yeah.
I use it as a hardware insert and I EQ the shit out of stuff, but on the mix bus, I feel like I'm doing so much in the mix and like you
Those
don't
are
like,
2
I don't-
2 dB steps though.
it's a lot. Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
Well,
lot.
yeah, that's why
You know what's great about the mixed wave one is that today
Love
I was
it.
using it. I put 2 dBs of 10K and then I dialed back the percentage
mix.
to 40%.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
So then you get it without
Yeah.
like 2 dBs. It's way too much.
Yeah,
for
I
anything, to be
I
honest.
have lately either depending if I want some like sizzle, the NG tube EQ, it's crazy, but it's kind of heavy-handed. But usually it's, if I don't use it on vocals, it's the A25. Sweetest fucking thing ever.
QBQ is a cheat code. I am
Yeah.
having to do so much less of vocal processing in the past
Yeah.
few, like, because I've been using it for a few months now, and there's like so many plugs. I'm like, well, I haven't needed to use it, because I'm pretty. Like those curves, even though they look little, you're doing 5-6 dB
Yeah.
boost, and they're just smooth. It's just smooth like butter. Like you can like really have some fun with that.
Wes makes some fucking amazing gear. It's funny because I have, it's like for EDM and dance. So they make this Pandora, which is the 500 series 3 slots multi-band compressor, right?
Oh wow.
And as crazy as it sounds, even when you patch it in,
Just on its own. 0.
it just EDM and anything electronic with like a 4 on the floor, it just punches more. The gain is the same, no gain, no makeup gain, no gain reduction, no THD, just passing through that motherfucker.
Right.
It just punches more. It's crazy. Because one time, because I have it hard patched on my 2 bus, and then if I don't use it, I just bypass it because it's hard bypass. One time I mixed the record like that, and then I was like, oh shit, I have that one on.
Right, but it sounded good.
But it wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
I was like,
still
well,
running
it's not
through it.
doing anything. Let me bypass it. Bypass it was like, whoa, what the
Different,
fuck
yeah.
just happened? Like, that's how I noticed it. That's how I noticed
How do you
it.
manage? There's one question about this K-pop shit. I actually did that in Korea in the box. I had just gotten this
Nice.
basically I had to go to Korea to do a trip, to do a bunch of work, meetings and labels and stuff like that. And I bought a laptop so I could just be, because there's a couple mixes I had to start before I left, and I knew I was gonna have to do notes.
Right.
And I knew that it was going to be a pain in the ass to like have to control my computer at home, and I didn't know how the internet was going to be in certain places. So I basically bought a computer, a laptop. I mixed everything in the box at my house, and then when I went to Korea, I was doing notes and additional mixes and stuff like that at the K-pop label. So I started to really get good with the in the box shit, using specific plugins to gain depth and certain things that I was doing within my gain structuring, and that's partly why the stuff is sounding so punchy, is because the transients aren't being washed by my outboard gear. But I still have the outboard gear rig as well, which is the VT5 and 50.
It depends on the project. Half of
It
the stuff that I
depends.
master in the box.
100%.
Not just because I have the gear, I use it all the time. There's a question for you. Was like actually a couple. What did you use for Dweeezil song for 808?
I don't remember exactly, but it was probably MV2 EQ and then some EQ, and then probably like a MC303.
Oh, the
MC,
McDSP.
McDSP compressor. I love that.
Love
compressor,
it,
the
love
green
it,
one, the
yeah.
303. It's just like, it's different than the
Shout out to Colin. They
than the
make
C-
crazy shit.
C2, like it's just like a different feeling.
Yeah.
A lot of these compressors, like I know they're plugins or whatever, but they have feelings. Like there's a certain feeling that
Also,
you get
if-
from how it.
Yeah.
compresses.
So if it's the same song I'm thinking about, it's Wheezy, and Wheezy just has those 808 that kick through, right? Is it the Wheezy song he's talking
It's
about?
the easy one,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those Wheezy's 808s just have.
And
like
you just let them rock.
Yeah, you just let them.
You don't
their
want to do
thing.
too much to these 808s,
Yeah.
because the second you start doing compression and stuff like that, you start getting the
Exactly.
artifacts from the compression, and then it kills like the punch of the 808.
There's a couple of questions. West Audio Pandora versus IG Multiband. I'm answering this because I got both. The Pandora, like I said, is super punchy and just passing signal through it, super precise and clean. While the IGS, you need to think about it as an SSL bus compressor but multiband. So that's the main difference. And the second Adam H versus Eve Audio is always Eve Audio. And if you know, you know. I'm just gonna leave it like that.
That's it.
Oh, that's it.
Like, how do you do it? With which plugins and is mono something? What? I don't know.
Teezio, what are you doing on the no mastering console on the
it's just
pre-mix
with.
bus?
Just
With,
turning up the
just
sides.
with.
Yeah,
Okay.
just turning up the sides. What were mono so clean standards? I feel like a lot of times, and I'm not gonna lie, like they ask questions that like the only way I can like compare it is like this, like, hey, we're gonna cook today, right? And so I'm a chef, right? And you want to know about how I cook, right? And these are the questions you give me, like, what's this? I'm like, that's a handle for a thing. Don't pay. What's this? The counter. Well, look, you should be asking me questions about this, not what's this? It's a tray. Like, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's like you're there to see what the chef is doing, but you're asking him questions like, this is a drawer. Like, we know it's a fucking drawer. Like, don't ask that question. Ask more about like, why did you use that spice there? Like, you know what I mean? That's the only way I can.
You know, the thing is, that's an important subject, is like the 80-20 rule, right?
Right.
So I think one of the biggest challenges, if you want, for us is to immediately understand what are the most important elements that drive that record, that drive that song,
Right.
and then build everything around it and spend more time on what matters. Like on a rock mix, like I'm not gonna spend 45 minutes on the hat.
The thing is, sometimes these
They will
motherfuckers
ask you
will-
that.
No, they'll
But
flex and be
for-
like,
for
I
that-
spent 3 hours
For
on
that,
this snare.
let me see. For that same question, let me re-ask it in a way that I think makes more sense. Okay. Now that you've gone in the box, okay, you don't have the VT5, you don't have the summing. Did you feel that you were missing a little bit of that dimension in your mix? That now you were like, oh, let me add this plugin. This is it's giving me what I'm used to hearing, or it's adding.
Yes.
So it was a move you made when you went
There's
in the
things
box.
that I added in order to not lose out so much on that. Now, I feel like I gained more than I lost.
Yeah.
And because I gained more than I lost, I saw it as a win, right? I may
Yeah.
have lost 30%, but I gained 70, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
for that lost 30, I can do small things to make
Yeah,
it up. Like
yeah.
the Noah mastering console with the side thing. I've shown it to you.
Yeah.
Where like it literally just pushes the energy in the side so that the mix feels wider.
And the reason why I asked that is because when you showed that to me, I tried it. Okay, and I
Did you
tried
use
it, and I used it, and it worked. It worked sometimes, but I
Yeah.
realized it worked better when I was in the box than when I was.
Really?
in my
See,
rig.
I've never used it in the rig.
And
got
I
it.
was like, okay, because I already like what it's doing. I already have that going on, and that's when I was like, it. Now I've understood like a couple of the change, like a couple of things I've seen you do, and I noticed when you made that change.
Uh-huh.
Because I you know, I've watched you mix and we've known each other for years. So when you went in the box, I noticed you starting to do certain things. I noticed changes in your mix also, and I saw how you were trying to compensate for them. Because it's like
Right.
you're like, I think what I would like when I go in the box, I miss that there's just something, and like I noticed it even when I'll mix a whole record in the box, and then I come back to my studio, and then I bring it back into my world, and just like first off, literally just playing it in the box in my studio through my converters and everything sounds better.
Yeah.
I don't know why, how, whatever, HDX, all of that
Right,
sounds better. So that in myself, I was like, okay, that's a win. But then I have to gain stage it back to
have to
bring.
readjust
I have to
something,
always.
yeah.
Like, and that's but I know how to do it. I've done it so many times. I understand what to do. Then I make certain changes. But it's that little bit of like, oh, everything just before everything's there and it's front and in your face, which is good in sometimes. But I like that little bit of like that little separation of dimension, 3D-ness that I really like. That's what I struggled to do, and I think that's what you found a way to do using these things.
Just figure out that also there's a lot less depth within stuff that's slammed, and a lot of the stuff that I'm working on lately is pop music, and a lot of it's just slammed against the wall.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what you're using outboard gear, when you're printing a mix at -6,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of depth
Yeah,
anyways. The
yeah.
thing is slammed. You know
See-
what I mean? It sounds good. It's supposed to sound that way.
of
But there's not a lot of space. There's no space.
I've been doing a lot of shit with like a lot of acoustic guitars and acoustic instruments mixed with 808s. Like that whole country rap album. So in that, like, that was the big thing to me. I wanted to the thing is, I just didn't want them to think that, oh, this guy just mixes rap and doesn't know how to do. Like, I wanted the acoustic elements to sound really good, and I wanted to, in Nashville, people to fucking appreciate it and understand. And that's what, like working on those elements and doing that, I was able to. I don't know how I tangented and side pivoted to this, but that's this.
Yo, but another thing that I think is very overlooked about Depth is I can't tell you how many times I've gotten beat stems, and there's some sounds where I'm like, wow, just the phase on it just gives it such depth. And I realize that a lot of times, sometimes you get sounds that the producer does it, or it's not intentional, that the sound has its own depth because of a phase thing or something that's wrong.
That's pretty interesting. It's a good segue to his plugin because that's what that phase.
Yeah, no,
thing- I
it's
realized when
literally,
you
and
said
I'll
that
tell you right
phase-
now, like there's been times where I've gotten mixes where the sounds were just, they have this verb, they have this specific thing that the producer did, and the mix just feels like it's a lot of depth, a lot more than I should have for being in the box. And that's when I started to realize, I was like, the same way the product that we're given with, we can do what we can. The same way, sometimes I get stuff that like, holy shit, these strings sound alive. They sound 3D. And one thing that helps me as of lately in these past few days is the 3D plugin that your plugin does, which I was telling you I was using on a big record where they had this like doubler effect. And I wanted to give it like one more level because the doubler just split it left and right. And I wanted to give it almost a back and front thing.
This is how I describe it. Is like when you use the doublers, it's like a beauty pageant. Everybody is on the same line, just spread
right,
like
left
this,
and right. Yeah.
Instead of
Gives
this,
a booty now,
yeah,
a little booty back there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. There was a question for Bainz. What he's not gonna remember. I will be surprised. What did you use for Diamond Dancing with Travis Scott vocal effect for chorus to get it big and wide, and what reverb was on his vocal? Probably Valhalla Vintage Verbas.
Wait, I need you to
reverb,
give me the
right?
entire plugin setup right now.
So I first off, I mixed that with Derek. Derek and me worked on that together. Well, that was such a fun record, bro. We basically we had a bunch of committed stuff, but I think just driving that one, I automated just going into my Bricacity a lot more.
Oh,
yeah, it's just a lot of the Bricacity, and there's also like some kind of weird micro shifty stuff going on because we definitely thickened up his vocal in that section. I like that record.
Bainz, what do you use for heavy 808s now?
It depends on the 808. If it's big and heavy, less is more. Less is more. Gain stage it, right? What do you mean heavy? Big as in the bottom or in the top? If it's heavy in the bottom, I'll try to add some mid harmonics to help it cut through in that section. If it's heavy over there but lacking in the bottom, I'll like add some bottom. I used to want to reach for voice of God a lot more than I have recently. I think just 808s is like
does too much.
The producers are getting that it's coming better. Sometimes,
That's what
bro,
I'm
back in the
saying.
day, you used to get those weak 808s, and
Totally.
I'd have to parallel this shit. Now they just come a lot better.
But again, the goal is always what? Making sure that it sounds as close to the demo as possible. If you come back and your 808 is boom out the fucking water, yes, subjectively your bass is louder. Totally get that. But how do the vocals ride over it? How does it feel now? Does it feel different? Feels different. If it feels different, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Like period.
Wheezy's 808, you need very little. Wheezy's
Yeah,
808
Wheezy's 808, very little.
Yeah, get stuff out of the way. Wheezy 808, he tends not to use a kick, but if there's a kick, I'll like manually draw the automation. Sometimes I'll use that harmonics plugin from Softtube. By the way, I've been meaning to hit you up about this. We'll have a conversation about this later. You reminded me. But that harmonics plugin adds a little bit of parallel saturation. Mixwave has the green tube screamer distortion plugin. I love that.
Yeah.
I'll parallel that in and literally cut off all the bottom and top and just have whatever band is like mid-range. Yeah, but
there was a cool question that we can expand on. And if you guys see anything, just feel free. But there was something about mono compatibility, which I think it's something that, right? So which elements in your mix should you definitely check in mono, and which one can be a bit phasey?
This is another one of those questions where
Yeah,
it's like,
that's why I wanted
I'm going to
to
give you a
break it
perfect
down.
example of where I'm thinking about or knowing that there's a phase issue. Okay, I'm not going through and being like, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? The initial issue is a kick and a bass. When the bass changes notes, a lot of times the kick will cancel out, right? depending on if you have a plugins on the kick that are causing delay. Like, there's a lot of reasons on why that would happen.
Yeah,
right?
also
So I hear them. I don't have to go into mono to hear that there's an issue with the phase. I
we
can
hear it. A lot
I-
of people
No,
don't.
but you hear it because you can feel it. You hear boom, boom, and then
I
you hear the
just-
kick
it- it-
disappears.
Let me stop you for a second.
Okay,
They hear it, but they don't understand that it's
Okay,
phase
it's
causing
phasing.
that.
Okay, so that's what we need to then
Yeah.
teach them is okay. So the kick disappearing is an issue with the phase. Now, how do I fix it? I'm always going to come with a solution. I take the kicks that are out of phase with the kick, which it's not every one. It's like maybe every.
This is gonna be a
two.
good one.
I put that. I duplicate the tracks so that now I have the kicks that are in phase on one track and the kicks that are out of phase on the other track. And then I take the plugin called In Phase from Wave.
Yeah,
And I
very
flip the
good
phase
one.
on both of them.
Yep.
Now there's times where, okay, one of the kicks got fixed perfectly, but one of them still sounds a little wonky. So what I'll do is on that one, I'll try to nudge it.
Yep.
Slightly to the right,
Yeah.
slightly to the left, and try to get the transients to catch in a way where it feels even across the song. That's my solution for the problem. I don't ever think about putting something in mono to check. I've never done that. I've
Two-
never been
two-
like, I'll check it in
Two
mono.
things. What you just described happened with electronic music, right?
Yeah.
Or programmed new music. In rock, we don't. With real drums and real bass, so we don't have that problem. But at the same time, what happens in rock with guitars and bass and
Oh,
kick
yeah.
is some bass note get masked
Yeah.
and they disappear.
100%.
And
'Cause
that's
it's live.
where Andy Wallace taught us all, like, you need to fucking ride every single fucking note with
Right,
your finger,
right,
right?
right.
That's how I treat 808s.
Yeah.
I literally 808s. I don't like. That's the one thing I should have said. More than like I don't treat it as one
No,
one
no,
track.
no.
Like,
Separate
like,
it onto different
like different
notes.
notes. Like get like sometimes it's two, sometimes it's three. When they
Yeah.
have the super low ones, that's how you can like
100%.
keep your punchy notes punchy without the
Okay.
low ones having everything go to shit.
This is a great. This is a golden moment
Yeah.
because this is huge. It is impossible to take an 808 track that has a boom 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 808 and a low note
Yeah.
to all sit with the same compression. What's going to happen is you're going to over compress
Yeah.
this to catch compression on the low note.
Exactly.
Or vice versa. So this is what you do when you have basses that are more or less not even across the thing, where they're
Mhm.
entering multiple octaves.
Perceived like.
Perceived
They can
octave
look the
changes.
same.
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
look, but they typically won't
Yeah.
because they'll look
Yeah, they
different.
won't.
Yeah.
So what I do is I cut every single bass, every high note goes on its own track, and
Yeah,
I
for sure.
process each one differently, and
And-
I volume
and gain
change
state,
them.
exactly.
And volume,
yeah,
the low note
exactly.
needs to be turned up because you want to hear that note as much as you're hearing the top note, right?
Yes.
So that is huge. Cut your basses onto different tracks.
Yes.
Simple.
Two things about mono again, going back to mono.
going back to mono.
One thing that Keith showed me a few years ago that I thought was really cool. Sometimes when you switch to mono, and if there's anything distorting, it'll be more apparent right away.
True.
That's a cool little thing. So I don't give a fuck about the compatibility or whatever. That's a cool trick. Also, back in the day when we were working a lot of vocals, and you just have a shitload coming at you. When you switch to mono, sometimes you could, if anything's out of pitch, you could notice it right away.
Very true as
Very
well. Yeah.
quicker.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you think about it, all the main elements have at least the most energy in the middle, right?
Mhm.
Bass, kick, snare, lead
Mhm.
vocal, right? Or lead
Yeah.
synth. And so what's outside, it's somewhat distracting you from
Exactly.
hearing distortions and pitch. So
Exactly.
I also don't check in mono for mono compatibility because I think at this point of our career, we can spot a phase issue from
Exactly.
a mile
Yeah,
away.
100%.
It doesn't matter if we are monitoring in mono or not. But for the starting engineers and whoever, if you don't have that much experience, it is a good idea to check
Yeah.
in mono. Just don't mix in mono.
bro.
You're not mixing for mono.
Yeah.
You're mixing for stereo. So it's like, for example, it's unavoidable that
Yeah.
some of the vocal effects throws that we do
Yeah.
are not going to be mono compatible. It's fine.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Because
It's a
I'm not
stereo
gonna
mix.
sacrifice a delay over a
Yeah.
or over a
You're
compatibility
not
issue.
going to sacrifice your stereo mix for a mono version of
Right,
it because we're
100%.
mixing for stereo. If you want to
100%. Even the phones are in stereo now,
exactly,
So
if you want a completely mono compatible mix, it's going to be a mono mix.
and a lot
That's
of times I flip, like I'll make a delay throw be out of phase on purpose
Me
to
too.
create
Yeah.
that 3D dimension.
Where-
So technically what happens with
Where-
that,
where
right?
this shit matters is like so Sean, my buddy, he's working with MGK a lot, and they've done records, and I've seen him work on these records. There's this record where they literally, they've recorded everything, like stop, like that, like
Yeah, the
shit, the
stomps,
stomps, the hand claps, and like all kinds of stuff, and then added samples underneath.
Yeah.
And bro, this guy, like I saw him, and he's literally every single one of them. These are stacks, you know. Every single one he has to like make sure it's in phase and shit. Because it's so easy. Like you miss one, and then suddenly like you'll be like, oh wait, what happened over there?
Well, they start to
go back.
disappear.
Yeah,
So you have to make sure you're nudging each one perfectly.
Yeah, because one off can like
Because if something, that's something to like point out. If something is out of phase, it doesn't matter how high you push the fader. It's not gonna. It's gonna be hollow, and it's gonna also take so much headroom.
Yeah.
So check your phase and shit like that. especially when people stacks kicks samples, which many times
That's
they
where
have
phase
4
issues-
samples that shouldn't be there in the first place. It's
Yeah.
because the first 2 were out of phase, so they
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
adding stacks of samples.
That definitely happens. I rarely see like a vocal canceling out a string.
No,
I've never seen that in my
never-
life.
never,
It's
no.
typically low end stuff.
Yes,
Samples, kicks, even snares sometimes
Yeah.
can kind of fade.
low
but-
synths.
But again, this all goes back to one very important point. There are 2 types of producers. There are people that make
this is not
No,
this
this
is
No,
is,
it's
there
not
are- there are
mixing
2 types of
produ- yeah.
producers. There are people who make beats, and there are people who know what the fuck
They're doing.
Okay, I'll
Yep.
tell you right now. There are producers that'll literally. This is my favorite. When I get, that's why I love working in pop. The producer will have me. I'll be on an audio stream link with Listen To on FaceTime, and they'll be like, "Okay, play this part, play it," and then they'll have their session that they have Ableton
Yeah.
of the song, and they'll go to the sound, they'll EQ and they'll boost 3 dBs. They'll find the EQ, and then they'll say, "Okay, grab the Pro Q and go to 2.2K and boost that half a dB." And I do it, and I play. It's like, okay, perfect. Like they're literally doing the EQ move
Yeah.
first on their side to see if they like it, and then they tell me to do it.
Yeah.
Like that's how professional these fucking people.
Yeah,
are.
I mean,
Like,
that's
it's
how
insane.
producers should be.
And they follow the record.
Let's talk shit a little bit. Like, we all know that there are cases in which people get gigs not because of their skills.
No, because people like you. Which
Yeah.
guess what? That is very important as well.
It is
A
important.
lot of us get picked, unfortunately, sometimes just because people like, oh, I love Bainz, I love Thug, so they'll pick Bainz, but
course.
like maybe
That's
they should
normal,
have
though.
used someone else. Like it just depends. It's like sometimes it's part of the gig.
It
to
is
be
part of
liked.
the gigs.
And that's good to be liked because you can get a gig without being able
I
to
was
beat the other
was
guy.
thinking more like, when politics come into play, and and
Definitely.
people get that, because it especially, like, for example, my last 3 days, right? I've been elbow to elbow with, I mean, in the room was like Michael from Nickelback, the Monty, Madonna and Minstry guitarist,
Right,
and
right.
the drummer, and everybody was there. Like, you spend 3 days, 12 hours, elbow to elbow. If you don't like your engineer as a person,
No.
that's gonna be hell. Doesn't matter how good you are. They're not
No.
gonna. Yeah, I think that's normal, right?
When I got with Chris, it was funny because I guess he had told Jess. He was like, he's like, "Have you ever met my new engineer?" He's like, "He's cool as hell. He smokes weed and everything." Like me smoking weed, and like I smoked cigarettes back then. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but I was smoking cigarettes back then. Chris was like, "This is a plus.
Yeah.
He smokes. He's chill. He could be in the room with us." Like literally, he told someone that, and they told me. Part of it was him just liking that I was like chill.
How did we? Yeah, wait. How did we get to this?
Hold on. Funny. Some of the gigs I got is because the artists, now they're sober, and I don't drink, and I don't drink, and so they were like wanting to be around people that don't fall back into that behavior.
100%.
So it goes both ways, but it's definitely you need to, somewhat like the people you work with, especially when we talk about art, because we're doing art,
And
It's
also,
definitely-
it's very, very easy to get comfortable. I tell all the guys that work in the studio, like we work with the same people every day. It becomes like family.
Yeah, it
And-
becomes like family.
And they're like party. They party. They do that. At any point, it should be very clear who the professional is in the room.
Yeah.
Anyone can walk into the room and look around and be like, "This guy is the guy."
Yeah,
working."
it's
And
usually
it's-
me and
yeah.
and
There
one
was
of
this-
Chris's
there
cousins.
was
We're
this-
both
There
chill.
was this saying, I don't know if Flo's still up, but we went on this trip one time, and they came to the conclusion that the people working can be half the level of high as the artist. They can't be the same level of high.
No.
Half. They were like, they can't not be high because they have to be on the same kind of vibe.
You can't be high when you're
This is back then, but they have to be half the level. That's how you gauge. But I mean now, different times.
It's different times.
Different
yeah.
times.
No, but I think being a part of the crew is super important when you're with an artist. You want to be essentially part of the family because that's how you have you're guaranteed. Your job is guaranteed,
Yeah.
right? Like you're good
I
to
mean,
go.
it's just not even that just happens. It's not about a job guarantee thing or whatever, bro. Like we're human beings.
Yeah.
You spend every day, bro. At the end of the day, okay, there's years of my life that I have seen Thug more than my girlfriend,
yeah.
more than anyone, and he's seen me more than his kids and
Yeah.
more than his girlfriend, more than his.
Right.
There's like it's backwards. Like we spend more time with them than anyone in the world. You are gonna,
It's true. But also, like, even if it's unconscious, right? The artists are trusting you, us, with their art, with their music. So they also need to, and it might be unconscious, like in the back of your head, but even when they are not in the room, they know that you care. They know that you're not
100%.
gonna fuck around and like, okay, I need to punch out now, and I'm gonna go, to dinner. No,
artists, yeah.
We are staying sitting at that chair until it's done properly.
Overall, I think like with Thug, for example, and even Chris too, like they don't need to know where the hard drive. They don't need to know any of that. They just know that as long as we're both alive, everything is going to be taken care of. They don't need to know, hey, did you make sure that you saved that? Did you make sure to back up the hard? They don't. I've never even said that because at that it's just a fucking given. I always tell people, Chris walks in with his phone and his keys. Yeah, he don't even have his wallet. My fucking cousin's got a wallet. Yeah. He ain't got his wallet. He just sits down and he's just like, you need to have the session up, the song ready, the microphone up, everything ready to go. He should just be able to walk into the studio at that level, right?
Oh, absolutely. When Michael, Nickelback, the first time he recorded, because this is a story I think I told you, I don't remember, but his bass sound on the Dark Horse record it's one of my two reference bass sound. One is like Twiggy on 13 Steps, and Michael. So when he walked, I don't get starstruck anymore, but I was like, that's my fucking bass reference sound. Right. I'm about to record them. I need to like at least not fuck up and
definitely steal that bass preset.
Exactly, right? And he walked in and I had 3 chains, 3 different preamps, EQ compressor. All he had to do is like plug his bass in each one of them.
Easy. He was just try this,
Just try this. And which
that
one do
probably
you
took him
like?
2 seconds.
Number one.
He probably hit one note. It was like, nope.
Yeah.
One note, and
one note.
That's
like
it.
literally.
Because that's how it is. Just the way I can literally listen to a mix for 3 seconds and be like, snares too loud, kicks not punching. Just it's immediate.
Yeah, and it's funny. I put the emphasis on the one note thing because that's
You
literally
just
what he
only
did.
need that.
Yeah, and he did that, and in my head he went like boom.
Just
And
with
I was
one,
like,
not even with the other hand. He just had
Yeah.
one hand.
He was like, I was like, holy shit, it's that sound. It's the sound I grew up with.
Like,
Like,
I have
it's
to
so
steal this
crazy
bass
that
immediately.
His hands and his bass is like 70% of the sound.
100%.
You could play through fucking phone and you
yeah.
recognize that is that motherfucker.
Well, there's a performance level that
Yeah.
is something you feel that you can't. Fuck the sound.
Yeah.
The performance is unreal. Yeah.
It's crazy. Do you
To allow drinking in your control, motherfucker. Yes,
Yeah.
I do. I mean, when people come into my room, I'll be like, okay, put your drink here. But with me, I'm responsible, so I just put my shit anywhere. When I go places, it's funny. When I go to other studios, I make sure that I always put drinks on the floor or whatever because
Yeah.
it's not my equipment.
Yeah.
right? But in my studio, I do whatever I want.
also because I think it's not a walk-in. The people who we allow in our room, we both have private rooms, so people we allowed, we already know they're gonna behave.
Yeah. Oh, me not so much. I've told,
I looked at you for that.
I've told the studios to like on the console we kind of have like a little sheet that goes underneath like to catch stuff. It's never the artist. The artist is very huh?
It's the girlfriend.
It's never
It's
even
the
the
posse.
girlfriend. It's some random girl that wants to come in that I'm swatting away. Someone who just always will just come and annoy the person by the keyboard, and I'm just get away. And at some point, inevitably, there will be a spill. Now we've put these little, these like plasticky, like they're black, but they're like plastic. These sheets that kind of help.
Yeah.
And then otherwise the studio sends the repair bill.
Well, I make one of those little toddler cages, and anytime a bitch get too drunk, I put it in the toddler cage.
All right,
That's
let's
crazy.
see the chat.
I better go. It's 4 in the
Confused
morning.
about the routing. Get a digital patch, baby.
Yeah, Pro Patch. It's the way to go. I will never mix without it. Period. I will die on that hill.
What is one
The
thing
Wolf
you think
Pro
is still-
Patch.
What is okay? Fine. This is a really good one.
Do you guys use the Yeser on your master most of the
Yes.
time? Me and Bainz for sure
I do.
because we do the SSL thing.
I do the
and,
Weiss-
yeah,
Weiss
we do
Yeser.
Weiss. and
Vice
the Vice
Director.
as well. Yeah, so
Fire.
definitely
Yeah,
yes
the
for
HF
3 of that.
producer,
Yeah.
Wait, what was the question?
Wait, this is a good question. What is one thing you still think is missing from your studio? Hardware, plugins, studio infrastructure, whatever. I'm going to start with this. This is my goal for this year. I want to somehow figure out, I don't know if we've spoken about it already, but I want to figure out a way to convert my whole studio to be modular so it could be standing or setting.
Oh yeah.
So that's I'm trying to figure out the logistics of that. If the room's gonna sound the same standing up and like just a standing desk situation. I've just been dealing with some neck and back issues that I need.
For me, kind of the same since I have pretty much all the fucking gear in the world. But I'm planning on having a better cloud on top of the ceiling. Yeah, that's the one first upgrade that it needs to be done. And that's
You want
pretty much.
you want one with diffusion as well?
Yes, both a mix of diffusion and trapping for
Those-
sure.
Just those when I've noticed in tight spaces, you know, just the basic squares, the open ones, not
Yeah.
the ones with diffusers, but I think they call spacers or something. They kind of make the smaller rooms seem bigger. They kind of like they do something nice. With
Yeah,
something.
I will try a couple
Yeah.
and then
I
pick
have
the
some
one.
spare too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, the
Well,
studio, I
then
probably have some shit. You can
let's
that way you
fucking
can
do it.
move around and see what
Yes,
works.
I will take advantage of that. Teezio,
What
answer.
am I trying to do? I don't know. I feel like everything's pretty good right now.
Dude,
I'm
you
not
can
trying to
say
fuck it
that.
up.
I mean, I'm pretty good. Like
I'm in a place where I'm just like, I'm not even necessarily checking. I'm going to the car to check
I
stuff
don't
every
check
now
the
and
car,
then.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to the point where I've go to the car and I'm like, motherfucker, perfect.
Actually, it's funny, you know, this is gonna sound cocky as shit, but when it sounds better in the car as opposed to
Oh, it should.
like the last
This is
few
what happens to me.
years, I was like, fuck, this sounds even better than in
Well,
the
this is what
studio.
happens in the studio. I'll be working a record where I'm really like, I got my elbow up in it. I'm
Yeah.
just like, you dumb bitch. And then I get to the car and I'm like, it's actually not bad. That's the times I'm like, it's not all the shit that I was hearing in the studio. It's not really showing up in the car. I was like, okay, we might be all good. But in the studio, I'm like, come here, bitch.
But that's a good that means that our monitoring system and
It's
room
displaying what
is
was
displaying what's wrong as opposed to
Mhm.
masking what's wrong, which especially happens.
It'd be nice to have for all of us in our studios. Have you seen these new Neobot robots?
wrong.
No.
Oh yeah. Can we have him do stuff?
Yeah,
I want to have
that's
him
what-
like roll up and shit.
Why I'm
Yeah,
no, I
that's
don't know
literally
about what
I
the
told
fuck you're
Flo.
talking
I
about.
was like, it's like a Tesla bot, and he was like, he saw a video where they had this robot folding clothes, cleaning up and shit. I
But he
was
does it
like,
hella
bro,
slow
what-
though. He'd be like this.
Bro, I was like maybe you don't even need to roll joints for me. Just clean up after I roll joints. I'll roll the joints.
You
but
come
clean
back
up
to roll
after.
another joint and he's like barely finishing.
Oh my
That's
God,
fucked up.
That's what we need to upgrade.
It's like, can you bring you water and like make you sandwich or something?
I think so.
Okay.
We need to, you know.
Do you have a protein bar of some
Oh,
sort?
wait, can we have? What if all of our robots beef though? Like we come around each other. If I get one of those robots, I'm taking him everywhere with me. Like he's my side robot, and then like our side robots might beef like low key. We're gonna have him sitting on the couch like this next to each
It's,
other.
you know how it's gonna end? It's gonna end into a robot
Bro,
fight.
we should put
And
like
we're just gonna cheer for our
They're
robot.
gonna be fucking
Just
fighting, bro.
bet on it.
they're gonna be slowly like karate chopping each other, bro. God damn.
We can put it in the car and go on the
I kind of want to get one as long as he can rock out with me. Like I can take him in the car. Like
yeah,
I
I
can do
think,
everything.
I think
wanna.
you can train it.
I
Or you
would
can
train
program
it.
like
As soon as I open the box, I'm like, all right, shit's gonna be different with me, boy. We ain't folding no clothes. I'm gonna need you to go and pick up this weed right quick for me. Like,
it's gonna do a software upgrade.
You know what I said?
hold on, he could drive the Tesla because he could be sitting in the front
Bro,
seat.
what I was just telling Flo's, I was like, we could have one in the studio as a runner. Put him to the real test.
Yeah, that's
No, he could definitely do that. But imagine this: if we put him in the driver's seat of the Tesla, you put in the map and you hit start driving, he doesn't have to do anything,
Autopilot all the way.
bro. I'll be like, just look forward.
You guys ever throw DSO suit at the beginning or end of the mix bus? I've never done that.
I've thrown the spectral, Speccraft. I do that on the master bus sometimes when I'm getting like just too much like harshness. Boost that bitch down a little bit, and then
Yeah,
the
I would
de-esser
do that.
de-esser helps.
Yeah.
I would never put soothe on the master though.
Yeah. I feel
Suit
like
is
that
too
kind of
heavy.
stuff I'm leaving
It's
for
too
like
heavy.
the mastering engineer to do.
But no, I wanted to leave my place. Like I'm like, okay, cool.
But also, I feel like if it needed that in the mix bus, I probably needed to do something else earlier to fix it. Huh?
It tastes like shit.
It's horrible.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What is it?
I have no idea. I just bought it the other day. I don't do protein bars. That's why I was like, let me.
Oh my god. Is it right?
It almost tastes like nothing.
Cardboard. I'm sorry, bro.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna open this.
Yeah. That's why I
is
got you
that?
3 times.
That's not
I mean,
bad,
dude,
though.
this is like no seed oils, creatine, collagen, grass-fed beef tallow oil. It's like all kinds
I'm
of
not gonna
shit.
lie, that shit kind of bust. That shit kind of good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep this motherfucker right here.
So yours. Oh god. Any multi-band on the master bus. Sometimes, like I said earlier, for EDM and
Dynamics from Isotope.
I go hardware with the Pandora. It's really good. That thing is fucking good, man.
I don't mind it because I don't like shit that's too sweet, anyways.
That's the thing.
Sugar.
I've realized like my shit is like gonna be overly healthy for you. It's like I'm still
How is it overly
I'm still
healthy
a
for
fat
him?
guy trying to be skinny.
Well, I steal down the Krispy Kreme here and there because I can't eat enough.
This guy's gonna like literally convert everyone to Krispy Kreme.
Mixed by Honora said, I love
an entire room of people that day.
I love the mix you did for Ava Max.
Oh yeah,
I love servants mixes for her, but what you did
That
is a
song
complete new
badass.
approach. You know, I'm trying to get in that fully in the pop world, bro. I'm going fully pop. I've actually haven't mixed any hip hop records lately.
Who produced that? Did you just say you were mixing
No.
this morning?
No, you can't.
I'm not saying the name, but that wasn't rap.
Oh, no, I was doing something else this morning.
Oh,
Oh, that is someone, but that's like, it's just a rapper that's a homie.
yeah,
So I just do it for him. But I'm talking about like major rap. I'm not really doing. I'm more like fully in the pop and R&B world right now, which I love the pop world because it's just like, you know what's funny in the pop world? I'm working on this really big project with a big producer, big pop producer, right? The guy hasn't said "but the demo" one time, not once. He didn't say "oh, but in the demo." He didn't say that one time. I was like, holy shit! I've entered a whole new world.
That's nice,
where
right?
people appreciate just it being better and being like it's better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the funny part was he's like, I want to make sure we keep it kind of raw. I still did my thing to it, and he did not even mention that. I'm
It's
in heaven.
crazy how
I'm in fucking
very
heaven.
different the people in certain genres are. You know, there are similarities, but they're different worlds. Hip hop is so much different from pop, from rock, from metal, and hardcore.
Goodwin's like, I won't work in rap. Like he just doesn't. He refuses to.
And there's a reason because
Oh.
them motherfuckers don't want to hear nothing you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You just essentially have to take the demo and then
Hey,
send
man.
it right back
Hey,
to them.
man. Hey man.
Bainz figured it out
Hey,
though.
man.
I'm not gonna
Let's
lie,
not-
Bainz
you know,
figured it
let's
out.
not dog about the whole jar. This is my shit right here.
Bainz figured it out. I have less patience.
Make that shit knock.
Damn,
Yeah, this is a good one for you, David. How do you
Yep.
even out the bass notes on EDM tracks?
Mostly fader writing, to be completely honest. And if
Or what we do, where we cut them onto different
Yeah.
tracks.
and if I have sometimes like maybe there's a synth that has some notes that are deaf, like I just on that one I either clip a clip saturation on it, or if I have like the Carnaby that is digitally controlled piece of hardware that I can automate, I would just push the saturation on that one note. But it's many times the bass is hard work. It's like note
It's
by
hard
note.
work,
Make
yeah.
sure that everything is like every
Yeah.
note is in check.
Especially live bass.
Yeah. Oh,
So today I
dude,
was working
live
on-
Yeah,
bass
the
is
first
like
one was
crazy.
boom,
Yeah.
and then the second was
Yeah.
EDM is like they're quick, right?
Yeah.
With 808s, we used to see that long tail. EDM ones are like you gotta fit like a lot of them. hit
It's
like a
the
short
rolling
bit.
bass. Yeah, they're like that. It's a lot of like fine tune automation with levels and
You
saturation.
know what I've been doing with the EDM shit to make it? You know how EDM they wanted to have that pumping feeling.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing is obviously once I get their stems into my session, the pumping feeling is not as apparent because I'm not doing what they were doing with their limiters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They were really bouncing it. I want to have something more refined. So what I do is I'll go on the music bus and on the bass bus, and sometimes on not the kick, but the other drums, and I'll put just a little bit of that pumper plugin from Waves,
Mhm.
just a little bit to make the sensation that
there's-
things are
there's-
pumping, but not like where it's pumping.
There's
Yeah.
LFO. There's a plugin called LFO
I love the
Tool,
pumper from
like
Waves.
LFO
Just
Tool.
One
a little,
knob.
you
It's
put a
really
little
good,
bit
yeah.
to make it feel, not like.
The LFO tool is cool, bro. I saw this. I don't even know. I don't know what it is, but it was one of those targeted ads that I saw on Instagram the other day, and I was like, this is fucking insane. It was basically a plugin that you put, and I don't even know what it's called because it was just a targeted ad, but it adds modulation to any plugin you have. So now think of this, okay?
I think Stu sent it to me.
Wait, I want
Yeah.
that.
Think
Yeah,
now you're
Stu said-
modulating the fucking the band.
Yeah.
So you could turn a Pro Q3 or Pro Q4 into Filter Freak. That's just one idea that I had. You can have bands and satin modulate, which kind of does like just crazy modulation shit to have
Yeah.
parameters within plugin modulate with other things. I was like, dude, that is crazy.
Onto a sound that's already been printed out of its. Because VSTs usually allow you to modify it with
You
an
know what I
LFO,
mean? This,
but once it's out of the VST,
all of this is the producer kind of workflow that I'm thinking, like having like Ableton will let you like have modulation. In Pro
but
Tools, I don't
once
know how
it's
would
out
you
of
do
there,
it?
it's out of there.
Yeah,
You're not
but
in control.
it looked pretty cool. Like LFO tool is a cool one. Just things you can modulate shit with, or just ways we could use plugins differently to get creative. That would be pretty.
I am
pretty cool.
99% sure that what you're talking about. Stu sent it to me
Yeah.
on Instagram. So like, dude, check this out.
That's probably where I saw.
Yeah,
Because
it
he
is.
sends
Yeah.
me
Yeah,
cool
yeah,
shit
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, and then he's probably sent it to you. And he sent it to me
Let's also
too.
talk about when it's okay to do things like that, which is pretty heavy-handed, and when it's not okay to do that type of stuff.
I most times it's for me it's decided beforehand.
Okay,
Like they actually
they're saying, "Hey, we want you to do your thing." with
extra
this."
production. Yeah.
Cool.
So you're
Yeah.
free to do anything like that. And if it's not said beforehand and I do happen to have a cool idea, I will offer it.
Yeah, I think that's really important is talking about how to go about it. There's a lot of people that think like they think, especially some of these older mixers that would think, or some of these newer mixers that think like, oh, I'm gonna give you this mix and that's the shit,
No.
right?
We are a
And
service.
and I've done a bunch of changes, right?
Yeah.
Now this is the thing. When I want to make a change, there's been times where I actually wanted to change a kick because their kick was terrible and it was like not working with the bass, which is a production issue with the producer.
Yep.
So it was so bad that I went and just changed it. Right now, what I did was I said, "Hey, I have something I want you to hear. I had to make an alteration. I want you to hear it. If you like it, cool. If you don't like it, we'll switch it back."
Yeah.
So I come to them humbly and I say, "Hey, this is what happened. Can you just listen? If you like it, good. If not, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just need you to hear this because I think it could be better." They've already hired me because they're trying to trust me at some capacity. Right. So that's the only way I'll do it, especially with a new client. I'm never just going to be like, "Oh, here it is." Now, with someone like Chris, I have so much independence.
Of course.
Like, I've literally like, that effect is not dope. Let me change the whole
Yeah.
effect type of thing. And he loves it, right? Versus with other clients, you can't do that. They are married to that already, right? So with that situation, I won't mess with it too much. The only time I'll mess with it is if I get some sort of permission or I have some sort of relationship.
Yeah.
It's like the person who walks in the room and is like tone deaf and doesn't understand that the vibe is not there.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of like basically just doing something without consulting the producer.
Yeah,
And
no,
and they're always open to it as long as you come to them and say, "Hey, I need to do something. I just want you to hear it."
Exactly.
And they'll be open to it. They're not gonna be like, "Don't do it. Just do your fucking job." It's never gonna, you know what I mean?
No, I've never done. Never happened to me.
Exactly.
But I also can't imagine going about it in a different way.
But I can tell you how many times I've had conversations with producers that said, "Man, this mixer fucking took my 808 and fucked it up," and just like, you know what I mean? Like how many times that has happened is a lot more often
Wow.
than when a producer or an engineer came to a producer humbly and said, "Hey, I think we can make this change and make
Yeah.
it better." They just do it, and then the producer ends up with that bad taste in their mouth.
Well,
like,
yeah, you're kind of
they made a
stepping on
decision,
toes.
They didn't even ask me, and the song ended up coming out because of the politics of it not coming back to
course.
the producer for approval. So many bad things can happen, and I think
That's
that,
that's just kind of borderline disrespect, not to,
100%.
you know.
But some people operate in that.
Yeah,
manner.
I know.
I think when you need to do something like that, like just fucking, if the kick isn't punchy and you fucking can't find a way to EQ it, find a kick that blends well with it. Leave the original kick in and parallel that in. That's literally, I've done that so many times. Like there's times when an 808 hasn't had enough fucking attack to it, and I literally I'll add a very subtle kick just
Yeah,
for the
just a little
transient
bit.
section. And it's not, it literally sounds like I've EQ'd the shit out of it.
That's-
Bumped it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to take production for that.
That,
shit,
that's
dude.
crazy
insane.
because in rock, like with acoustic drums, you
Yeah,
do
you
that all the time. Yeah. So
exactly.
also
And actually, I
crazy.
make a point to try to keep as much as the acoustic sound as possible.
Mhm.
That Adema mix that I showed you, like that's 70% his ringies there. The kick drum, I think we talk about it. The kick drum was crazy because I think it's been 15 years or more that I did not use a sample on a kick, right? And that mix, I received the files. It was like 8 p.m. and I was just spread them on Pro Tools just to make sure that I have everything.
Mhm.
And I just started fucking with the kick because I start mixing with the kick, but like 5 minutes, and then I went to bed. The next morning, I woke up, I opened image, I was like, "Fuck, this kick doesn't need a
No, You
sample."
said mix is done.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But yeah, so yeah, but totally right. Like, go about it like humble. This is something that I thought could be cool, and don't take it personal if they say no. Because at the end of the day, we are a service.
I don't really use a lot of parallel processing personally. It doesn't work in the box as much as you, right? I mean,
Yeah.
David, you use a lot of outboard gear. Would you say that
Yeah,
parallel
I
compressing
parallel fucking
on the
everything.
outside is different than paralleling on the
One
inside?
hundred percent.
Okay, so that's something that people always ask me. Why don't you
Yeah.
parallel? Why don't you parallel? Well, when I'm working on a lot of stuff that even if I'm using my rig that's outside the box, I don't have anything to parallel with. So
Yeah.
I would still be paralleling in the box.
But hang on a second. We just spoke a little while ago about how you use Mixwave plugin, and you said
Mixwave. Yeah.
the VD5, and you said you just hit it at 40%.
And I put the percentage down. Yeah, I guess that could be paralleling. Yeah, I guess I'm talking about when people take like a vocal copy and they slam it
I
with a
do that all the
compressor,
time with
but you
everything.
do it without
Yeah.
board gear
Yeah.
because it's actually parallel compressing
Yeah.
with that, right? Because it's like the wave. Something I was talking to Jess about it. And he's just like, it's just different when it happens outside the box versus inside the box.
I have a parallel distressor. In my
I don't really
lead
also-
vocal always.
I also don't need it.
I love it.
I don't need it. I just do stuff to like, even if you put let's say you need let's say your vocal, you need parallel compression, throw RVox on there and then come and see me after. Just put a little
Yeah,
bit of
but
RVox. That's
but
just gonna
that's-
come right out like
But
that.
that's one very important point. There's not one or the best way
to do something
to do something in this world. That's why,
at all.
and at the end of the day, we could even get to the same result with different routes.
Bainz and I
So-
mixed on the same album, and our mixes sound very similar, and we mixed entirely differently.
Yeah.
That's a true testament. Time. We've mixed records together, like albums together, and you could hear both of them. Like, oh, they sound good. You can't, even the fucking trained ear won't be able to tell you like, oh, which one's which, because we both mixed them together.
Because at the end of the day, it's just our ears and how we interpret music.
Yeah,
That's it.
You
We're
know?
using different tools, but we're getting to the same location.
exactly.
I'm gonna have a cigarette.
There was a question about Travis's vocal on "Hot." With that one, that was all Mike Dean. He just sent me an acapella. He did his thing. We had to do some back and forth with getting it right because of the timing. Because when whoever recorded it, there was some weird stretching of the track that happened because of texting a wave. So this was years ago. And we figured it out. So he actually saved the day and had to like time stretch all those vocals and save it, but it's pretty cool.
I don't understand the stereo one. How do you guys deal with stereo imaging when all the tracks are in stereo? Oh, okay, yeah, that's a really that's a good take. Okay,
To be honest with you, it depends, man. Sometimes, like if someone knows what they're doing, I've gotten great stems.
100%.
Okay, and also like I've gotten great stems to some people recently where I've been like I've had to call the engineer and be like, hey bro, there's a lot of bad edits that are baked in that I need you to fix because I'm like we can't do it. And I went back. So in that case, it was cool that I had that thing where I could reach out and be like, do that. In the rap situations, I prefer getting the session because a lot of the time the shit is both like the shit that the tracking engineer has put on there. I can see what they're getting to do and I can do a better version. And if I get it committed, I'm just not gonna be able to do it. So
100%.
it just it's a case by case basis, man. Some stems like it might seem like stems are easier to just like it's quicker and everything. Like you can also mixes like a lot of people are of the opinion that when you get stems, you mix from stems, the mixes get approved much faster.
Yeah.
Which is also very true. Like Castelli when he works and if he gets a session, he'll print stems off their session
make
and then
it, yeah.
and mix it like that. So
I think this is a question that is one of those ones where it's extremely.
it just depends on the song.
Everything about this depends. I get records from a producer named Johnny Goldstein. Johnny Goldstein is one of those dudes that I tell you will sit there and EQ
Yeah.
shit with me. type
Yeah.
shit. This guy is a fucking every time I mix a song with Johnny Goldstein,
Yeah.
I leave that mix having learned something about mixing. Okay, that's how great of a producer he is. So when I get files from him, stems. I want everything stemmed. Everything, because if the vocal has even the slightest different compression or the slightest different EQ that it's
Yeah.
not exactly what he had, he's gonna notice. So why are we starting from over there when we're trying to get there and we can start from here?
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
So with someone like him, always stems. And even if he wanted to, he wouldn't be able to send me a session because he works in Ableton. But the other producer, there's a lot of producers. The top producers, I prefer stems, and I prefer the reverb and delay to be separate so that I can manage that accordingly. There is the rare case where I'll say, okay, send me everything wet, meaning all just the stems how they are. Send me the vocals with just tune. I mean, just the leads
Right.
with just tune. Leave all your backgrounds, all that backgrounds. Let me just rework the lead processing with just tune on. That's why when I say it depends, it literally fucking depends song to song.
So I would say 60% of the time, this will probably shock you, but in all the alternative rock genres, it's very common. I don't get stems and I don't get session. I get consolidated raw tracks.
Fuck no.
Oh wow.
I get that in K-pop.
And then I get a rough mix. Because
Okay.
what they want from me,
Mhm.
it's do what you do in your mixes.
But do they want you to match
No.
the demo?
No.
Okay.
No.
One level harder than that is
Yeah.
K-pop. So what K-pop does is this. They get an English demo,
Oh,
right? The English demo has a sound, right? Let's say it's like a rap song, big delays, Don Toliver style shit, right? Boom, demo. They'll take the song, they'll re-record it raw, meaning like doesn't have any of the effects. They just record it, right?
yeah.
They tune the vocals so that they're tuned, and they send me the fully dry session with just tune on the vocals, and then they give me a demo that with a different singer, different everything, a writer
Wow.
speaking English. This song changed,
Yeah,
right? And they go make this sound just like the demo now, without knowing anything about this. I have 1 2-track to use to match distortions, delays, all this shit on something that it didn't even come from that.
Yeah.
Their tones are different.
Yeah.
So one of them, for example, had a vocoder. The vocoder didn't feel the same harmonics weren't coming out as the demo.
The
So
language is different.
it felt different than the
Yeah.
vocoder from the English one.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's how fucking hard the K-pop shit is.
Yeah.
That's like mastery level because you have an English demo that was never even in the same room as this.
yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but
On the Big X Country album, I got all Pro Tools sessions, and a lot of it came from some really dope producers. Louis Bell worked on it, and a bunch of other people. Full on sessions. So getting those sessions that have God Particle at default setting, and then bringing that into gain stage into my world,
Yeah.
that took a long time. Then I would take everything off the master and then rework it. And I would just take the master off and work everything else. Sometimes I'd have to back off on the percentage, but I like in that situation I had way more control because I had the original sessions.
the only times that I get the sessions, and I don't think I ever get the stamps. Maybe some hip hop, rare hip hop.
Yeah.
But with Alyssa Raghu that we went on Billboard this December, that I got the session because they were really nice about it. They were like, look, the session is kind of a bit of a mess. So we give you the session because we know it's messy. So go from there. Like, you know, when sometimes you describe it at my place, when sometimes they put the sends in the wrong place. And now if you touch something, it's a mess. So I had to clean that mess up, copying the settings and putting it in the right place and doing gain staging. But yeah, at the end of the time, it became cool.
In that situation, even in that situation, I would rather have the session because I can undo all of that now.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can do it.
that's what
But the
I'm
pain in
saying.
The
Like,
pain in the dick is knowing that some dumbass engineer was sitting there with the sends happening on the vocal track, and then there's a bus that comes after
Yeah.
that they were using to put more plugins, and every time you
Yeah.
added a plugin and things got louder, it disrupted the balance of the reverb and delay.
unfortunately, yeah.
So that's one thing. If we're gonna
unfortunate,
take
yeah.
anything from this entire fucking thing today, is
Don't do
make
that.
sure that your inserts are on the last final thing.
Uh,
Please do not have your inserts halfway in between something to where you turn something up after that, and all of a sudden your reverb is different because you've put signal out after the fact that you've already sent it to the other
Yep.
reverb, right?
That's some cool questions that I was reading. I hope to hear New Bella soon. I hope she's well. Okay, so I feel like saying this because a lot of people has been asking and everything about Bella's music. So unfortunately, when she was in the hospital the first time she was on life support, something happened. Something happened. I can't talk about it, but she can't sing anymore for the foreseeable future. And so there's not gonna be, unfortunately, any new music from her for a little bit. And as soon as we have updates on that, I will let you know, guys. Thank you for asking. But there was also other questions that I noticed earlier. David, what is the workout routine? Okay, so let's talk about
now
that.
we're getting something really importante.
That's what I
Also-
want to hear.
Also, do you have a Brick Lane MC4 coming in early to showcase it? Okay, so yes, I do. It's coming in April. It's gonna be one of the first ones, if not the first one. So yes, the Brick Lane is coming, and yes, there's gonna be a video.
Say I lift bricks.
My workout routine. So my workout routine right now is I work out every day, and I have 2 heavy days and 1 light day. And it's pretty simple. It's pretty much a push-pull power building routine, meaning every day is based around a main lift. Like back is deadlift and then accessories. Chest is a main press and accessories. Then a light day for abs and arms. Then legs, which is either heavy squats or heavy press and accessories. Shoulders, heavy press and accessories, and then another light day. And Bainz now on Teezio,
I'm getting to it.
yeah, they are adopting my routine,
Yeah,
and we're training often together. So
it's good. I
that's
feel
what
like
it
this feels more like bro splitty, which is dope. Which I used to do years ago, and then like I kind of like I keep going back and forth. But this is
Yeah.
this is fun because it lets you work out every day.
Yeah, it lets you work out every day, and if you are disciplined with the light day,
Yeah,
you get your rest. And the reason, because I don't have days off, that's interesting because that happens over time.
Yeah.
Like, and as I got older, I noticed that the day that I didn't train,
yeah,
like a day off, I couldn't sleep.
yeah.
I was staring at the ceiling at 4 a.m. and I would fuck up the next day at work because you're lethargic, you can't mix, you can't hear shit.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that even if I go in and I do arms and abs like we did,
Yeah.
I get the steam off enough
Yeah,
so I
totally.
can sleep.
Yeah.
So
No, definitely. I do. Yeah, and then fucking recovery, man. Recovery.
yeah, it is important. Is Pro Tools standard off for all of you? Yes, for me.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all
All Pro
Yeah,
Tools.
man, I use,
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I use Fruity Loops.
How important you think is having fader controller in your
I was
workflow
gonna
for
ask
ready
you,
to?
do you have one?
I do. I have
Yeah.
the soft fader, and I wouldn't mix without it. I love it. Yeah,
You have a
especially
fader? What's it for?
yeah
For
for
Oh, 'cause you do
rides,
ride shit.
rides, and also for sense
Is it,
rides.
is it a,
Not
You
just
know, it's
volume
funny that you do
rides.
that. I just do my rides by like highlighting and pulling up on bars or creating like dots and making it with a mouse.
Yeah, sometimes I do that too. Depends
I
if
get
I
you're-
want
you're
to
like-
be percent. Yeah, I
do you, is it,
I
is it-
started on
Is it 8
consoles.
channels or is it?
is an 8 channel.
the
Yeah.
soft tube one?
Yeah.
nice.
Actually, the soft tube has 10 channels,
Yeah.
but on Pro Tools only 8 works because it's used the UE
Okay,
yeah protocol as opposed to Yukon, which is exclusive to Avid. But it's like, dude, they feel so good. They feel so good.
How do you control the mid range on a mix? Turn EQ out the mid range out of elements that have too
Lots
much
of
mid-range.
multi-banding and scooping.
Yeah, figure out what it is that the mid range
Yeah.
is coming from, and then
Dynamic EQ scooping.
Sometimes just a little-
The thing is, the mid range is where all the energy is too.
you have. That's
You
what I'm
can't
saying.
neuter it.
Sometimes on the master, you can just do a little bump, just a little dump, just a little pop, and it's fine.
Yeah, like when you get these like pocket tension pockets. of frequency.
And you can automate it too. Like there's been times
Yeah.
where a vocal goes to a point where it gets really thin, and like I'll click and something to turn on and automate the EQ there for a second, then turn back off.
David and Bainz, are you guys planning to go in the box like Teezio? I definitely not planning on
No,
going in the
sir.
box. I don't know about you.
I have I've done a few mixes in the box recently because of necessity, because like albums coming out at 10 o'clock and at 7 o'clock songs are being added, so offline bouncing just got to be as quick as possible. So I have done quite a few recently. I think I'm really happy with how shit has gotten over the past few years. Shout out to the good folk over at like Mixwave and Isotope and fucking, like everyone. Like the plugins have really gotten a lot better over the past few years. The fucking gold clip, obviously natural
Yeah, right,
audio, everything. Like I feel like there's some really cool shit that it's like it's giving you that extra 5-10% that the analog is giving you. Now I'm a fucking engineer and a nerd, so I don't think I'll ever give it up.
Yeah.
But there's times where it's not as like, oh fuck, I'm just not gonna do it. Sometimes I'm like, okay, if it's there, I'll just
Yeah.
And
I don't have a team. Like it's weird because I have so much gear. People think I'm team analog no matter what, right? When we mentioned it before, like many times, probably half of the songs that I master, I master in the box. But I still feel that I'm faster with analog.
mixing, right?
Yeah.
For sure. That's why I do it. I can
Yeah.
get to where I want to go
Yeah,
way faster.
with less
Uh,
processing.
Yeah, but I don't even know if it's just it's also like the only time I mix in the box is when I'm not in my studio.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not just it's like everything, right? It's I can't it's the combination of my studio, my speakers, my this, that.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in my room, I'm mixing with everything.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And I'm doing sounds early in the chain. Recall the hardware. How do you go about recalling your hardware? It's so. I mean, to be completely honest, I think it's such an exaggerated idea that people have about how complicated is to recall hardware. Two things, and this is just maybe just me. One, I personally have so much shit that I barely touch settings. I touch settings on like sure main compressor, which is recallable, and mastering, of course. Every song is different. But I have 8 1176s. If one 1176 doesn't work, I'm not gonna change setting. I'm gonna send to the other one.
Yeah.
And same with distressor or other things. So at the end of the day, many units now are recallable, and with the Pro Patch, the biggest pain in the ass for recalls is not recalling the knobs, it's recalling the hardware, the routing with the patch. The Pro Patch took that away.
Yeah, exactly.
You click and you go from a mix to another. That's it.
And then for the few pieces you have to do it, it's session recall, man. It's the easiest. It's
Yeah.
like literally, it's a godsend. man.
Yeah, it is.
I wish you could. Now, if we're getting into details, I wish you could search in that thing. That's a very dumb feature that they don't have.
Yeah.
But session recall and then Better Maker, West Audio, all the digital.
Yeah, that's
recall,
it.
the APB.
Yeah.
That thing's great.
Eventually, everybody's gonna go digital recall,
Yeah.
and I can't wait for distressors to be digital recall because that is one thing. And
that
there
would
are
be a cool mod for someone to do.
there would be there would be there are some units in which I don't care. Like for example, 670.
Yeah.
It's got 3 giant knobs,
Yeah,
man. Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
takes a second to
Yeah.
recall.
Yeah.
But a distressor that has steel pots, I would love for it.
Yeah,
to be recallable.
my distressor, I don't touch it.
Yeah, I have 4,
Yeah,
so I don't
yeah.
touch him because
Yeah.
of that. HG2,
Yeah.
thank God he's been taken care of. That's cool. Yeah. There was someone Teezio asking you to explain a little better the sand thing.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Basically,
That's your
if I have a vocal,
pet peeve.
and then after that I have an aux, right? So the vocal is going to, let's say, a vocal aux, and on that, and you basically have
take someone of me.
the vocal sending. You're sending it from the vocal track. You're sending to a reverb, right? And then you're going to the vocal bus, and now you're putting a limiter, a compressor, whatever you're boosting, and maybe you're using that to turn the volume up of the vocal because it's the final vocal thing, right? Every time you turn the vocal up, you turn the verb down because the verb is sending prior to ever hitting that aux. So the vocal itself is getting louder, the dry signal, and the wet signal is still at the same level because it's not being turned up from that channel, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is when I get the session, I have to go and put the reverbs onto the final thing because now I'm going to put my chain, which is I'm going to be increasing and decreasing and doing things with the volume. And if I do that, it'll throw off the levels of the send, right?
Yep.
So I have to do that. So I have to move everything because they're essentially not taking signal chain. What is it called? Signal theory. What is it called?
Gain staging.
No, not
The
gain
signal
theory.
flow.
Signal
Signal
flow. They're
flow.
not like understanding the signal
Yeah.
flow,
Signal
how
flow,
things
sorry,
work,
yeah.
and that's the issue that I've
Yeah.
been dealing with getting sessions.
Yeah, sometimes the session happens. It's very unfortunate because we need to do so much fixing before even starting to mix.
Totally.
If that happens, so try not to do it for sure. That's funny. That's a good question. What financial habits helped you survive the slow periods in your career?
That's a good question.
If you can buy it twice, you can't afford it.
Mic drop it.
That's a really good one.
I think it's very, this is a very good question. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you why. We are, and I have been around very rich people for
Yeah.
the better part of my entire life. And I think that this is a great question because we're in rooms where people are dressed certain ways, people drive certain cars, people wear certain jewelry, have certain watches, buy certain food, order certain amounts of weed,
Eat
right?
at
So
certain restaurants.
eat at certain restaurants, and you go and eat at these restaurants
Yep.
with them and they pay for it, and it's very hard to go like, okay, now I've left the studio and I'm no longer around these people.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna go and just like eat top ramen when I
Yep.
was just eating at Mastro's with the artists, right? So I totally understand the fact that it gets harder in our business because usually the people we work for typically have more money than we do. That's why we work for them, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's not like at work, your job, or like, yeah, your boss makes more than you, but you don't get to see all the shit your boss has, right? You just see that he shows up in a suit every day, right? We're around people where we see the insides of their houses, we're in their cars,
The
we're
lifestyle.
driving we see the entire
lifestyle,
lifestyle of these people. And so it's very hard for us not to want to assimilate to that lifestyle. I think it's important that you figure out a style that works for you. It's very important, just like be as clean as possible. If you could just have a pair of clean shoes, like, you know what I mean, to feel like you can be around these people. But when you're around this shit, you're gonna have to understand that you have to work your way up to that.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna look like these people. You'll be lucky. They'll give you clothes though and shit.
You made
clothes.
you made me remember a quote that honestly took me probably 20 years to understand. And it's super simple, and you don't chase success, you attract success. And it took me so long to understand this, right? It's very hard to get to work with an artist that is on a different level brand wise than you. If you're so much lower, it's when you are a certain level, you attract success. People want to work with you because you are at that level, right? The question is how you get to that level, and that is a path that I think is different from
Everyone has a different path. And everyone, it involves a lot of luck. It involves someone that maybe is reaching down for you and helping
Yeah.
you out from
Yeah.
a place where
Yeah.
maybe typically they wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
So for me, like once I got with Chris, a lot of things changed for me, and I started to now level up and be at a place where it's like, for example, we went on Chris with tour. We went on tour with Chris, and there was a segment where we were in Chicago, and the next stop was New York, right? And I was like, the bus ride there was whatever 12 hours to go there, and I was like, fuck no. I literally on the bus, I was sitting we were about to leave the hotel, the front. On the bus, I booked the fucking ticket on the plane, and I literally once I booked it, I was like, Chris, I'll see you in New York. And I walked off the bus. I got in an Uber and went to the airport, got to New York and chilled for like at least a day before they
Yeah.
even got there.
Yeah.
And so it was like, that's when I started to realize that I was starting to feel like I was a little bit more on that level where it's
Yeah.
like I didn't have to ride on the bus if
Yeah.
I didn't want to, right? So it's like things will change, but you have to go through all the shit to get
Oh
to
yeah,
that point. right?
unless you are a nepo baby, you're born in the industry
100%.
or whatever.
I don't think
have
any of
done-
us have had that.
we absolutely
we
don't.
came from nothing.
Yeah,
from
nothing.
doing this.
And it's a hard, long road. But also I think in many times it's the one thing that makes you last in the industry because
100%.
you fought your way through it in a good in a good
Yeah,
way.
I can tell you right now, I've worked with a lot of people that come from money, and there's only been one guy. I won't say his name, so I won't throw him out there. But
course.
there's only been one fucking guy that was the sweetest, nicest guy to me, and he came from like uber mega money.
Yeah.
Most people, I think they suffer with like this thing where it's like they'll never accomplish themselves
Yeah.
what their family has accomplished, so they move a certain way. And I know that how they move because I've dealt with a lot of them, and there's only been one guy where I'm like, you really deserve this. I'm not gonna lie, you actually deserve
Well,
this.
I also think that you gotta go through some shit to appreciate
Yeah,
what you get.
Yeah,
If you have everything handled,
it's
those
impossible
I
to
think
do what
w-
we do if
yeah,
you've never had to
exactly.
do
Yeah,
anything.
exactly. Those kind of people, like we can't even relate to the ones that have been, spoon fed the entire life and they really
No.
actually never went through shit
100%.
because we're just a different breed.
Even
you
if they're
know?
driving the same car or whatever, it's just
Yeah,
not
no,
the
it's
same
different.
because we earned it from
Yep.
nothing.
Yeah.
Anyone can. I mean, like, imagine we get to the point where like I'm able to just buy my kid whatever car they want, right? It's like,
Yes.
it's not his, it's my earning that did it. It's like he didn't do shit. You know what I mean? He just
Yeah.
got lucky to be my kid.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Cool. Your ET in the box vocal chain for your all right
That's
now.
another question that's crazy. Like, what's an in the box vocal chain? I mean, technically, my
yeah,
chain
there's no change. I mean, a lot of cleanup
it's the
shit.
same.
I mean, for additive shit, recently, I've been using the VLC and VT5, and the VNE also, but the VT7 has been a new one that I've used.
I
a
love
lot.
the VT7.
Yeah,
I'm
so
on
the mixed wave shit. That's the reason I fuck with it is because you have the option. You can like use it in a recording session at
It's
no-
really
zero
low latency.
latency.
Yeah, 100%.
Then the minute you want it to sound better, you just oversample it.
Same with the AL1. You
Yeah.
could use it like anywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's
Same
super.
thing.
It's
Oh
super
yeah.
easy.
No, yeah, for sure. On average, how long does it take for you to guys mix a song?
Depends on the
It
song.
depends on everything is always whatever
Yeah.
question you guys have. The first answer is going to be it depends, and then there'll be a couple of different things.
Yeah.
So for hip hop, 45 minutes to an hour. Like today, I did a record that was like I said, one of my homies that was like I mixed his shit, and it took me like literally an hour. It was like
Yeah.
literally kick snare hat, couple loops, and then a bass, and then a lead track and an ad lib track. 45 minutes to an hour. Then I did like the Ava Max shit that I did. That's 4 hours.
Yeah.
But that's a 150 track song. You know what I mean? So it's like
You're
it just depends.
you're fast.
Well, I don't
'Cause
hang
I-
around and hang out with the snare for fucking 20
Yeah.
minutes. Like I like listen, you bring the look, this is the operation. I unmute the hat. I listen, I pull up an EQ. I push it down. Okay, that's good. A little bit more. Open a compressor, compress. Great. Up a little bit. Okay, move the fuck on. That was it. Literally, that's the amount of
I started
time.
mixing a lot faster because of him, but that's crazy. 45
Yeah,
minutes.
but it is
For an
crazy.
hour, for an hour,
But also,
an hour
also
mix.
for the people at home, the shit that you got sounds pretty good.
Yeah, because I have
Yeah.
a way of doing everything where it's always the same.
Yeah.
It's like you do like the guy that played the guitar. He hit one note on the bass. He knew everything he
Yep.
needed to know from that one note.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I pull up the mix. I already know what I need to get. Boop 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 boop. It's just like
For me, 100. My average mixes are anywhere between 80 and 130 tracks. Is going to take like 2 working days, which means
no fucking
2
way.
afternoons.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
No way. I mean, okay, I'll finish the mix and then I might break for an hour, do something else, and then come back and just like listen
Yeah.
to it with fresh ears. But like the initial mix is like literally an hour for a rap mix, and then like Chris songs 3 to 4 hours easily.
If it's a rap song and let's say
It's not gonna take you
we
that
keep
long.
the track count
We're
around,
talking
like,
about
below
10,
20.
10 tracks.
10 tracks, yes. It would take
Because
a
that's what I'm
couple of
telling you. Kick,
hours.
snare, hat, da-da-da.
No,
and
what
then- oh, you're saying a couple hours for you, yeah.
No, even that takes a little longer than it takes an hour in prep work.
But I'm not doing the prep work.
I know.
We're not counting that.
Yeah,
But mixing, yeah. I don't know. Like I use a lot of hardware inserts. Have to commit them.
me too.
Like it takes time.
Okay.
To me, when I'm talking, my average mix, it goes anywhere between 80 and 120 tracks. So it's just even learning all the tracks that I have.
Also,
It
a lot
takes
of
a
it
long
is
time.
group. Like, for example, you might get a 4 stack of vocals on the hook. Like,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
going to a bus. I EQ and compress the bus and pan the stuff. Occasionally, I might EQ something directly on one of them or something like that.
Oh.
But for the most part, these stacks you're seeing, I'm mixing them as a whole. Why? Because I don't want to mess with any of the relative levels of, let's say there's 4 stacks and there's one note and another note. There's no world where I should be changing the relationship between that low and the high.
Yeah.
Because that's already set. That's how they have it in the demo. I should only be doing the overall leveling of the entire thing into that, right? And like EQing it. Once you start to alter a level here, then here, you take a snare that's 4 snares and you alter those levels, you've changed the
Yeah,
mix.
no, obviously.
You've changed the
That,
mix.
no.
It sounds different now.
Yeah. All right.
Who rolls up the fastest? Damn. David. David puts the weed and the paper in his thing. He goes, that joint comes out.
That would be a party trick.
That'd be it. So you guys, anyone have any weed?
Do you guys use any tactics like clip to zero or anything?
But what does clip to zero even mean? Like some of these questions, I'm looking at them and I'm like, I need you to explain to me the question first.
Hey buddy, what's up? It's not your time for food. No, not your time. Out of the kitchen.
Tone Blair, thank
How did
you. Thank you is one of the members that
Tone
uses
Blair.
my
Tony Blair. Wait, isn't
mixing.
Tony Blair fucking the guy from
He's the prime minister.
he's the
of
prime
UK.
minister?
That's
God damn,
Tone.
yo, thank you for your service, Fabi.
Awesome. You know, we need to check. We need to check the battery on that phone because we
He
might
said it was
have.
good.
it was good? Okay, cool.
I had him check it a little while ago. Cool. What's it at?
Hmm. Well, we've been on for a while.
It's 420.
420.
We should definitely do a roll-off competition at the end.
I don't even know how to do. You,
Well,
you
you're gonna
understand
be
that,
the
right?
judge.
I'm gonna be the judge. Okay, let's just go.
Oh. Oh.
Well, he's like a human.
But yeah, I'll repeat that because there
That
were
was
some
it.
other questions in the chat. My plugin with Metric Halo and Make Believe, there's 2 plugins in the line that are coming out, and they're coming out at the end of March. There's gonna be plenty of videos and tips and tricks and stuff. You guys need to do presets for that.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. I got you.
Another question for panning. We talked about it at the
Yeah, we
beginning.
did. Yeah, the big, yeah.
I pan everything.
I try to go as wide as
LCR.
possible, especially in the pop world. They just want a big ass fucking
LCR,
song.
LCR.
Occasionally there'll be a vocal note where it's like a high note that sticks out and it can't be all the way left because it's just kind of throwing it off. And I'll put that a little more center, but for the most part, everything is just get it all out of the
Yep.
center. I want the vocalist to be in the shot, in the spotlight.
Yeah. What artists are bouncing between studios? What makes one room stand out enough for them to keep coming back?
How loud the room is.
Loud is a big one, and then the staff,
service, the staff.
service.
Yeah.
Are they
The
getting
service is a
blunts
big
for that? Are
thing.
they letting them smoke in the room? Are they tripping about too many people coming there? There's like everything except the console, the gear, the microphone, literally everything except those things is why they choose the fucking
Yeah.
studio.
Exactly. For,
Because most of them don't even know what the fuck they are.
As long as the
how
vibe
loud
is
the
right.
room is, the vibe, security,
Security is a big one,
how what the parking is
especially
like,
with big
private,
artists. Yeah.
privacy. You know, those are the things we look for actually.
Oh, I'm gonna just lay because I'm the only one that can really lay it down. But mixed by Nora, you know, the VT5 from Mixwave is astounding.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
What's an acoustic? Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Like everything else you guys answering it is like the most boring. But how do you get through those early mixing stages? How did you learn it? Get your reps in. Like anything else, get your reps in.
On the mic.
Get your reps in. Like how do you learn mixing by
I mean,
mixing?
you just do it, and
You
then
do it, and
eventually
then
you
you
realize
you
that you did it, but you don't know how you did it. You just did it, and then it happened. It's
by
like the
doing it
Nike
a lot.
commercial.
I know. It's just by doing it
You
a
just
lot.
do it a lot.
Like how? But someone asks you, well,
Okay.
how do you get so ripped? How
Okay.
do you do it?
Okay.
By fucking getting
Hold
the
on.
reps in, by just doing it's the same
This is
shit.
a-
It's the same basic shit.
This is what
You
I
know what it is by
I'm gonna
doing
leave you
fucking.
guys
I
with
ate
this.
right. I've worked like that's what it is. I mixed records. I mixed thousands and thousands of records, and then I
Exactly.
got good at by doing it.
Now, a lot of people always ask questions like, what do you, how, what, like all these questions. And I always tell people, I'm like, when Tiger Woods is hitting the ball, do you ask him like what he's thinking about? He's going to say fucking nothing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about as little as possible when I'm swinging the club. Because the second I start to think is the second I start to fuck shit up,
Yeah.
right? And it's the same thing with mixing. I'm not going in there going, I got to make sure that I use this plugin on the bass because I saw it on a YouTube channel. They use this plugin. I need to go in there and think about nothing but the record, nothing but the swing. That's it. You ask anybody, the guy who played basketball, how do you shoot and make the? I don't know. I just don't think about anything but ball, hoop.
For sure. I think their question is how to get to that level in which becomes second nature.
Then that's by doing what Bainz said.
You do it every day.
You
wanna,
do it every day until it becomes second
just
nature.
like everything else.
And
If
you
you
don't
want to
even
be good
realize
at
what you're doing
tennis, you
sometimes.
play in tennis every day. You're gonna be good at squat. You squat every day. That's
But you can't
literally what you do.
explain everything that made you.
No,
do that,
you
is the
can't because
question.
everybody has a different learning curve.
And
you
how
know.
you see things is different than
Yeah,
other people see. How we hear things
yeah,
is
it's
different, than how other
different.
people hear
You
things.
mix a lot of records, and you listen to a lot of other records too.
That's I think
And-
the part that is important.
I would just listen to
I
records.
used to like when I was in a band. I think that's when I kind of developed a lot of. I trained my ears a lot. I was dissecting songs and understanding like how do they do that? Like
Yeah.
how what makes this chorus
Yeah.
cool?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to recreate something similar with the band, and I think critical listening then would be the right definition.
You know, there's this exercise they made us do in full set. I don't know. I haven't thought of this for years until right now. You pick a song, any song, and you have to write that song down. Like literally map out the bars and write down everything that happens in the song. Like write it down. Like 4 bars, this kick here. Like not the vocals, instrumentally.
Right.
Or you could be like throw whatever and shit like that, or whatever doubles here, this that, but like sonically everything that was happening.
So
And
you
it
have to be
really,
like, there's a kick, a snare, a hat.
and it's like you basically you draw out a timeline,
Yeah.
and like it's basically imagine like the whole grid you see in Pro
Yeah.
Tools bars.
I
and you're
would do.
writing
I would,
down
I would no. I would
so-
literally draw from listening.
Yeah.
Draw what the Pro Tools session looks like.
You know what I mean? But it teaches like it's crazy because when we like even me when I think a song, I think the Pro Tools
I
session.
think
you
of the
know
Pro
what I mean?
Tools
Like
session,
it's,
yeah.
it's sometimes like when people ask me and I'm like, dude, I just send me the song. I just need to put it in on the timeline to see it to understand. Sometimes like that's how my brain works.
100%.
But it was trying to teach you to like listen to a song and like be able to just do that.
Visually do it, which we
Visually do it,
could
which-
do it,
which
but I feel
obviously-
like when I visually see it is when
Yeah.
I can understand. I can understand so much if I have it in
Yeah.
front of me.
Yeah,
Just by looking at it.
especially when people like like if someone sends you like 4 versions of a song,
I
and
hate
like
when they do that.
yeah, and it's all different arrangements, and they like pick one. I'm like, bro, just fuck. I need to see this. I need to see what's going on. Like, I need to know. Like, how am I gonna remember by the first one that it's oh, this one has an 8-bar bridge here. This one doesn't have this. This has this. Like, how you
100%. I need to like when someone tells me this is the best part. When someone's like, we made a change here, and they send me a new demo. I'm like, can you tell me like we changed a line in the verse? We changed the whole brick. Like, give me something. Don't just be like, here it is, and I gotta. You want me to go with a stethoscope and listen to both sides and be like, I think I found what was different. Like, that's not even. Why are we playing games? Just tell me what's different. I don't need to even hear it. If you tell me the lead on the bridge changed, thank you. Just send me the lead on the bridge.
It's funny. So how many times you hear the first demo and then you look at the Pro Tools and you go like, oh, now I understand what's happening there.
Oh
'Cause-
yeah, no, yeah. My assistant probably ends up seeing a lot of that. He probably sees why.
Question for Bainz: what's your engineer journey from India to US market? Have you engineered in India? This mic has a red light. I think.
Is
the
that bad?
battery's
No, I turn
going
on the
down.
record. Is it
Oh,
record?
Oh no, you don't need to record. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Wait, let it be. Just turn it around. Are you still getting? Yo, check
getting
the
me.
thing. Are you still getting two mics?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. I didn't. I've only worked professionally in the States. I went to school in Australia for a second, but I've only worked here professionally. I have worked with some Indian artists. That has been over here. I haven't ever gone back there and worked there. I worked with, arguably one of the biggest artists out of, let's just even say like Southeast Asia or whatever right now. Diljit, who's big in Punjabi music. He's selling like arenas and stadiums around the world. But even him, they came to me because they were familiar with my work over here. So I've like always wanted to I didn't want to be the Indian guy who does rap. I wanted to be the guy that does rap who happens to be Indian.
Right.
That's kind of like I've always like tried to do that in my career. So
I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, we gotta be honest. Like, U.S. is kind of
it's the market. Yeah,
it's
for sure.
the market. That's it. And it's a train that
It is the culture.
carries everything else, like every other country. Then if you're
The entertainment culture here
Yeah,
is what
it is
people
here.
want to try to emulate.
It's
because
Hollywood,
we have
baby.
The Hollywood shit, like they
It's
want,
Hollywood,
everyone
baby.
wants to have their version of Hollywood. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Atlanta has it too. Atlanta has their version of Hollywood, but we're talking about like outside of this country. Yeah, like every country wants to be like the U.S. Like the dudes, like when I went in Argentina, for example, the rappers there, they tattoo their whole face, but they're not gang members.
Yeah.
Like if you were to be like, hey, how are you? They're like, hey man, nice to meet you, and they're like tatted everywhere.
That's what
Because-
even MSM was like in the UK. They're trying to emulate them lot.
They're
them
not,
lot over
like-
there doing. They really try to
I went to a cafe one time and this guy was tatted all up, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I walked up to him. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was just like, "Oh, you guys do it because it's a stylistic
Yes.
thing, not because
Yes.
you guys are in a gang. Like gangs don't exist in Argentina. There's narcos, drug people, and then there's just regular
Little people, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Narcotraficante.
I can't wait for the new season of Narcos now that Buddy's dead.
Yeah.
Now that Buddy's dead, you already know. Yo, they clipped Buddy.
Is this a real thing or is this a joke?
What is a joke?
Have you all tried the new multi-band from 3 Body Tech? They have a new multi-band compressor.
Yes, they do.
Is it good?
They do.
That's the same company as Kirchhoff and stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like this.
They do. They when I did the video with the new Vice DS5, everybody was like comparing it to the new 3-body, which they make good shit. I mean, I don't like it. Just Vice is Vice. I mean,
That's remember when you said soft tubes, I need to talk to you about something on
Yeah.
privately. That's
Yeah.
what I need to talk to you
yeah,
about.
because it's a whole different ball game. But I'm pretty sure it's pretty cool. I personally didn't try it. I did see it. He didn't even know it existed, so the answer is probably no. I didn't try it yet. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think. What time did you start?
Yo, Flo, you around?
Nope.
I saw a question that was pertaining to him earlier, but if he comes, I'll ask it. I'll ask others, whatever. Teezio, there's some Spanish over here. We need you to translate.
Yeah.
Speak slowly for the French. Okay, David,
Yeah.
when did you move to the US? I'm interested in hearing your journey.
So I moved permanently to US in this October 2018, which is now 8 years, and it seems like fucking
Wow.
yesterday.
LA?
Yeah.
We to LA.
Yeah,
Nice.
straight to LA. North Hollywood was my first place.
Nice.
And then we said the story about Pensado and stuff. I said the Pensado story before, so I'm gonna repeat it.
And you already had Mixed Buzz TV going?
Yes. The channel was very healthy already.
Yeah,
and,
and-
everybody knew me about for that.
And then it was just the logical move.
It was the logical move for several reasons. One, the years right before that, I was pretty much reaching the ceiling of what I could do over there. I did a lot of records for Virgin. I worked with Valerio Rossi, which is a huge pop artist in Italy.
Yeah.
McSolaar in Paris. We did double platinum, album of the year 2017. And that was it, because again, the market is here. And there was always, the idea of moving back, because when I said 2018, I said I moved back here permanently, but I came here in about probably was around 2009, 2010 when I was with the band. And then the idea was to stay, but then we were touring with the band a lot in Europe. So it made sense to be there and go back there. And then when I quit the band there, I was engineering already. So all my work was there as an engineer as well. And what was supposed to be a couple of years in Europe and then back turned out to be like 7. And that's why Pensado, because he knew, he sat me on the couch and, you know, and he told me like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you not here? What are you waiting for? And it was kind of a really a wake up call because, you know, many times what we do is like we keep our head down and we work and you don't even realize how much time passed. And for me, it was years. And his call was, you know, a wake up call. It was like, you're right. What am I waiting for? At the end of the day, I don't have like ties that I can't get away from over there. And
This next question is actually a good follow up. It's as a foreigner, would you say it makes more sense to go to the US directly or first get big in your country? And I asked you this. I asked you, what was your channel? You said you had your shit popping.
Yeah.
So we had different journeys. Like I came to the States to go to school. I couldn't, like, I right out of high school, I need to get the fuck out of India. And I came here. Now, the split to that is, do you go to New York or LA? That was my question. So I can answer that. It was always go to New York to make it. And once you made it, go to LA. Now, I hadn't quite made it, but I felt very successful in what I had done. And once I came to LA, my career exploded tenfold.
Yeah. So that's actually a good follow up to that. I came straight to LA because when I was with the band, I came to LA first. So I already have a little bit of like, you know, foot in the door, so to speak. And also my channel helped a lot because all the companies knew me. A lot of people, I had clients here already. So I'm kind of a unique case in that way. But
you're actually the perfect example of a success story in the social media generation, the social media era, because you came up, you know, and you got big like that, and then that drives more work. So there's like I wouldn't know how to like do. There's so many different ways you can do it now.
Yeah, there's so many
how
ways.
You get your name out, like I don't have the answer.
Yeah, if you think about it though, I'm kind of like, I don't want to talk down to anybody, but I think
You set the example.
it was kind of like I was an engineer already that happened to have a YouTube channel, just like you said. The guy that makes hip hop that happens to be Indian.
Exactly.
I wasn't like, companies started to hit me up because they were like, okay, this guy's not a YouTuber. This guy mixes for a living.
That makes sense when, I mean, even us hanging around, like, right, it's apparent right off the bat, like when we hang out and talk, I'm like, oh yeah, you like, you really know your shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that also is what definitely separates you, and like why we're like, you know, like why the shit catches on, because like a lot of times, like, you know, more importantly, okay, there's some people that do shit really well and they just do it instinctively.
Yeah.
And I somehow, or there's people that spend a lot of time and learn how to do it and spend times, and I feel like I fall somewhere in that category. But I feel like you understand it so well that you're able to explain it well, and that's what I've really like. Even you, Teezio, you kind of explain. You have funny analogies and shit. He gets funny stories, but this guy gets it down to the nitty gritty and technical level. And I really do appreciate.
I'm just
that.
not a technical person, but everyone is different.
Yeah. But I wanted to touch on something that you kind of said, and this guy kind of asked.
Yeah.
Don't think that just by coming to LA, your career is going to explode. Because yes, LA and other big cities have a lot of opportunities, but when you get here, you're against the best in the world. So
I mean, listen. The all of these things, like your grind, like that. All these things are given. Like this is you. It's just assuming you put in the hours, you're putting your time, you grind. Like all of this shit. Like this is the shit we have to do.
But tell me how many times you've seen people that came to LA, and then after 2 years they had to leave because they couldn't afford living here, and what they think is as soon as people see me in the acting world happens all the time, right? As soon as they see me, I'm gonna be, and then you walk on Hollywood Boulevard, nobody gives a shit about you because
you're like, book a ticket to LA And next Feb, where's my Grammy?
Yeah, exactly.
This is-
And then they had to leave because the city, like you're even just being able to live here means that you've made it because it's so expensive.
No, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
So like that like if you have a big studio in like middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
probably you wouldn't even make rent here. So but yeah, that's something to definitely to consider. If you work on your networking, you don't need to move to LA. You don't need to move to LA,
At
but
all, yeah.
hold on a second. Actually, going back to Dave Pensado said something at some point very true. You can't social media your way to the top. So social medias are great, and right now they are a big tool, but we know that you have to be in the room. You know, like we said earlier, why it's still important to be in certain places.
Yeah, like we're not every day is not us walking and going somewhere and meeting with people, but that one time that we do something and you're not around, and then that happens multiple times a year. You know, it's like it's built for that moment. That big client that wants to come to your studio and sit with you, and that's the client that takes you to the next client. It's like,
Exactly.
it's that one moment. It's
Exactly.
always the one moment.
Exactly. And it takes you probably to the next 6 clients.
But you don't even know.
You don't know.
You're
And
just
you
not
never
even there.
know.
You'll
You
never
never
know.
know.
But the thing is, LA is a place where people will, like, even if the artist is big enough, it's fine. They'll come to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've had people from New York, like big artists, that are like, okay, we're coming to LA to work with you. We're coming to LA.
Yeah.
But you could do that in LA. If you're somewhere else, like, it's hard.
can't.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna
Trying
get
to
off, like,
fucking Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's gonna. Yeah.
No. No offense to Michigan, but you know what I mean.
If they come to LA, they can also handle other
Other-
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it's still the heart of the entertainment world.
Yeah.
Movies, music, everything.
I love LA as much as time as I've had to spend in Miami recently. I realized how much more I love LA.
Yeah.
I know.
I look. We talked. I lived in Berlin. I lived in Paris. I lived toured the world. For how flawed the city is, and it has many flaws. Still the greatest capital in the world for me. Hands down, and that's it.
All right.
I think we can call it
Call
a
it a night,
day.
right?
Yeah, it's a good time. We talked about a lot of things. I think the replays on this are gonna be crazy. I hope you guys like the live stream. And everybody already asked to do more, so we'll probably do more. We'll do different things with both these two guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Any last shout out for anybody?
Shout out to everyone that came.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody.
Thank
you
guys
so
for-
much.
for coming here. Thank you, David,
Of course.
for doing this, man.
We'll
Teezio.
we'll do some training live streams and dinners
Is that,
and
you guys
shit.
want to see that?
Yes,
you
we
guys
can
actually
do
wanna
that.
see like
Oh,
a
shit,
workout live
Yes,
stream?
leave it in
That
the
would be
co-
crazy.
Leave it in the comment down below. We can do training live streams.
Yeah.
We just become like streamers and shit full time.
Well, fuck no. I mean,
I mean,
why the fuck
listen,
not?
We'll give you. We come. This is what we'll do. We'll have a workout. Then we'll go mix the record together, and we'll master.
Yep.
it. One
That's
whole
fucking.
day.
That's fucking
We'll
good.
do
That is
20
actually a pretty
20
fucking
pod
good
in and shit.
idea.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
We go
Done.
we go to zoo culture.
We got a date. Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Of course.